And there's no issue there. That's good. We hope that it goes to the YouTube. There it goes. Going live. Now. There we go. That to this. Okay. And I'm wondering if... No, I think I would need to do it from the actual... Oh, God. It's so annoying. It used to be... And this is just a... It's not even anything, I just have to do it myself. But it used to be that you could take this studio link for the chat and just drop it and it would work as, like, the regular chat, but they've changed it now. For some reason. So, let me get the chat link up for everybody to be able to see when we're actually able to do that. Or, well, we're already doing it, but you know what I mean. Pop out. Get that. Thank you. Alright. It is chat. So if you want to see that... what else am I missing? I'm missing, like, everything is what I'm doing. Yeah, that's true. Okay, cool. Alright. What's that one? I can close this one. And we can get... Where's that?
You seem to be live. Well, no, you're not quite live.
I think we are. We're not?
Let me mute the stream here so we're not doubling up on the audio.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, yeah, it's probably doing the whole, like, oh, you're like 5 minutes from doing the thing, or 3 minutes, or less than that now. But,
yeah,
it does that. I always start it at least 5 minutes early, so that we're never late. Unless we are. Haha!
Yep.
But, yeah, where is... Okay, I don't need this opened here. I need this opened over here to reference. That's the one. Okay. Alright, well... did I post that? I did. Good. Then we should be more or less set. How are you doing? How was your day? How is everything going?
Rough week. Decent weekend so far.
That's good. I'm glad to hear it. I mean, not about the rough week, of course, but...
Yeah.
I can feel that. I had a time at work this week. It was not the best work week, but it definitely wasn't the worst. Okay. I don't want that. I don't need a Garibay video playing. No. I need to put this in there.
Just a killer bingo last 2 weeks ago, by the way.
Thank you. It was ridiculous.
The phrase human improvement engine has stuck with me.
Good. I'm glad to hear it.
Hey guys.
So much. That I was almost at the point. I've actually been actively trying to make like a family tree of different editions of D&D, because of course you got 1E, then AD&D, then 2E, then AD&D 2E, then 3,
right.
You know, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I've been trying to think if one of them was a human improvement engine. Oh, there's the okay. If each one was a different human improvement engine, what would they look like?
Why did that?
Pick a name. Yeah, whatever.
There we go. Now
Start
that chat just works.
Okay. And yeah, it was so the easy one with 5th edition was Homer at the donut machine.
Yeah, for sure.
Because like he's just, you know, blah blah blah, you know, they're feeding him and he has no problem with it.
Right. Hey Timothy, how's it going?
Let me see, where did I put that collection? 4th edition. Let's see, Discord images, Human Improvement Machine. There we go. 4th edition. Have you ever seen Superman 3?
Superman 3. That was... No, Superman 4 is the one with Nuclear Man, isn't it?
Yeah, Superman 3 is the one with Richard Pryor and the computers.
I don't think I've seen 3 then.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think so.
There's a couple of different cuts of it, but there's a scene where one of the villains gets dragged into a computer.
Okay.
And there's this really creepy not time lapse, but stop motion sequence where her skin is very quickly has circuitry grafted onto it.
Oh, okay.
It was like like if you're 8 years old, that's like one of the most terrifying things you've ever seen.
Sounds it. That actually sounds kind of rad, though.
But I decided that was 4th edition. That image. Okay. And then Sigil, and like 5, 2024 5. I chose the Borg, of course.
Very good. Good choice.
Because if you'll recall, there was like a clause in the new in the terms and conditions of Sigil that any content that you place on there becomes the copyright of Wizards of the Coast.
I did not know this.
Your unique cultural characteristics will become ours, that sort of thing.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh no. Okay. Ooh.
Yeah. So it was basically the Borg.
Yeah, that fits entirely too well, and I don't like that it does. I'm good. You doing okay? Definitely happy to be here for the stream tonight. I don't know where Aiden is. I'll ring him again. But
is he wearing augmented reality goggles in that image, or just
no? That's you get to see more firsthand. That's some of the summer collection that we have now for PFPs. They'll be more available during when summer begins. Gonna switch over to those because I had an idea and then I commissioned it and it worked. They're very cool. I really like them.
No, it can't just be us. We can't handle this by ourselves.
Well, oh no, it'll be fine. Hello out there and welcome back to Tabletop Discussion and Discourse. I, as always, am your host, Alejo, aka Great95, and joining me today we have Dave again of As Your GM. Hello.
Howdy, howdy. I have not been here since the 200th episode.
That's right.
Where everything came to a screeching halt so that we could talk about how our brains work.
That's right. It was great. It was really fun.
Yes, it was.
But it's great to have you back on. I wanted to get everybody on way more often. And honestly, at this point, it's going to be a whole like, hey, you want to just jump in? Fuck it. We can get you in. Because why not, you know? I mean, sometimes people got things to say. But schedules and stuff are also helpful. So, scheduled it out. And now my cat has decided to yell at my door. So, of course, that's just how it goes.
Yeah.
If we're talking human improvement engines, I'm interested. Hello, Verity. That's, you know, we can get on the topic a little bit. We have a little bit, but not entirely. Got lore made before bed. Did good. Well, there you go. So tonight we're going to be talking about NPCs, young and old, because Dave here has given us the talking point of children in using children NPCs and how they are basically a very good way to promote a lot of different things in your games. And you gave us this post that I will bring up here in a moment from Reddit. You know,
always
Reddit.
A great source.
I was gonna say definitely a place of all time for sure.
Yes. Mixed bag for sure. DM Academy is pretty good. They give good advice, but it's kind of advice you can kind of find in lots of different places. But
Yeah.
if you're in a tight spot for a game running concept or idea or some discussion topic, in our case, you go to DMAcademy, sort by top, and just pick something. Or if you're feeling really sassy, sort by controversial.
Oh yeah, that's fair. Okay, so here's the thing from Reddit, from DMAcademy. I think I used to follow them when I was on Reddit a bit more. I think it's probably still on my Reddit account as a followed place.
I'm there off and on.
Yeah, I barely go on Reddit these days, to be fair. But yeah, so this says, pro tip, use more kids. Children are the ultimate Swiss Army knife of enabling roleplay situations. Need to make your players feel badass? Have some children vocally fawn over how cool they look. Need to give your NPCs depth or make villains sympathetic? Give them children that they care about. Want to introduce the idea that a certain race as a player is playing... Want to introduce the idea that a certain race a player is playing is unusual? Have a kid ask them an innocent question, like if a water genasi eats anything other than water. Just having children around is a chance for players to show off their characters. Think of a scene from the first Guardians of the Galaxy, when a group of poor children move past the heroes. Quill says, "Watch your pockets." Gamora smiles at them, while Groot cements his role as a kind soul by stopping to give a little girl a flower. I actually rewatched that movie recently. It's very good.
Yeah.
It will be well established throughout the game how your player characters deal with villainy. Give them a chance to show how they deal with innocence as well. Which I agree with. Like, it's obviously, you know, you got to use them a little sparingly, as with anything, right?
Yeah.
But because, like, you know, immediately when I think of like having some children fawn over how cool the heroes are, I'm like, yeah, I mean that would work in some cases, sure, but also, and but everything else, I mean, like, yeah, absolutely, they can add a lot of depth.
Yeah, and I find that kids are. One thing I'll point out at the end of this is edit while my first award. Back then, you could give like silver, gold, platinum awards. You'd pay Reddit, and it would give an award to that person.
Oh,
it would enable certain features on Reddit for them for a certain amount of time.
Oh, okay.
So apparently, someone thought this was good enough that they paid money to emphasize it.
Interesting.
Which is pretty good. But I do find that children are an interesting way to raise the stakes for the players without necessarily raising the scale.
Yeah, that's true.
Because they are the little things that you want to protect so bad, but there's only one of them, or a couple of them. And so like the scale of the situation may be no bigger than a village or the region around the village.
Right.
But the stakes for the players, who especially ones who are concerned with the well-being of children, is very high.
How many times can a party meet kids to talk cool about them?
Once.
Yeah, I would think it would be the one time, really. You know, like, you can have it be that, every time they see a child that they haven't seen before, they go, "Whoa, look at this guy, look at him, whoa, I bet he could do this, but probably the only other times where you can do that is after they've done something that's actually exceptional the child would have heard about, as with if you're helping the town by, I don't know, it's being terrorized, that's a word, by a group of gnolls, let's say. Like a big pack of gnolls lives over the hills inside of these little hill houses. They've dug up little networks of tunnels and stuff and connected them, and so they can all be underground over there to have a defensible position, but also come and raid this town for whatever, if a trade caravan goes through or whatever might be happening. They just need food, or they just want to, get stuff from the people. And then the heroes, they go through, they go and clear them out, or, negotiate, or however it plays out. And then when they go, hey man, we did this, and then everybody goes, whoa, that's great. And then the kids go, wow, they think you're really cool. It's like,
here, little child, have this Knoll skin cape.
yeah,
I made it
exactly.
myself.
The kid's like, wow, it's even dripping with blood still. Awesome.
Realistic gore.
Hell yeah. I'm gonna wear this all the time. It's like, okay, yeah, there you go. So, you know, as long as it's sparing, like I said before. I'm in the camp of corrupting children in games. Well, so actually, it's funny that you mentioned that. Not to go, you know, too far into one side, obviously, because I used a character in a game that we were playing more, you know, morally gray people.
Okay.
And my character was a turtle who was a College of Lore bard who was very much about basically the ends justify the means in order to get knowledge and artifacts to preserve them. And he was in this group. They were commissioned by the royal authority of the land, and he was like, okay, so the beggars on the street, they are useful. You know who's really malleable? Children. So he went around he went around and gathered up a group of beggar children, and they became his little posse that he would use to get information, because they're little children, so people don't usually like think anything of them. They've been beggars for however long, so they have that ability to survive inside of the capital city, and they might know a few things here and there, and they might be able to, you know, be overlooked if there's some sort of, you know, clandestine things that are happening throughout the city. And he basically forged a pact with them of like, okay, I'll give you some gold if I can't meet you, I will keep gold here in this place that you know that is like run down and everything, and you will give me information when I ask of it, you know. And basically using them for that only, and only really giving a shit about them otherwise if it was something that was going to like endanger them, because they were an asset, right? So, you know, he would say all the right words and things for them to believe him and think that he was a cool guy, but at the end of the day, he's just like, fucking, these kids.
Yeah, there is a big tradition in, especially around pulp and fantasy pulp literature, and involving, you know, the kid sidekick. Or having a gang of kids as your buddies, as your network in a way.
Yeah.
Newsboy Legion from DC Comics, you
Sure.
know, a bunch of kids working for Guardian, or, you know, the kid who was really just named the kid, you know, hanging out with Dick Tracy, of course.
Yep.
Probably the prototype sidekick kid.
Yeah, true.
Robin, of course, too.
Right. And also another trope that you see a lot is, you know, you've got, and we're talking about young and old, so like you got old grizzled person and young child that they have taken under their wing as like mentor and mentee, or, you know, a father figure or mother figure to this pseudo daughter or son, you know, like there's a lot of different aspects for that as well to really grow that relationship. And like this was saying, for adding depth to even villains could have that, you know, they saved this child at some point, took them under their wing, and they care for them. You know, that's their one like tie to humanity, quote unquote, if you will, if you want them to be horrible pieces of shit, that you can then draw from and say, well, this is a thing that they do that is pretty good for that kid. They don't do it great, like in the way that they do it, but, you know, they at least have some kind of heart. Oh, hello.
Yeah.
Aiden.
Aiden might be here. Check your audio settings.
Yeah. If you're using the new mic, oh, hello? Well, okay.
Dang it.
Well, he'll come back in a sec. But yeah, depth, very good. What am I thinking?
Some of flip side around,
Yeah.
flipping around to the GM side. I do use young characters a little too often to the point where I'm actually calling for a moratorium on child NPCs in my next game, which is going to be Dark Heresy for Warhammer
Ooh,
40K.
okay, yeah.
So probably my first and best child characters were the Urchin Gang from
Oh, hello.
Edge of the Empire, who kind of ruled the scrapyard with a tiny iron fist. um, Shades of Little Lamplighter in there, where like if once you reach a certain age as an urchin, which they called the kissing, you had to leave. But players really liked the urchins. I played two different sets of players on this planet. One more benign, one slightly more chaotic and less benign. But regardless of which way they were aligned, they both kind of liked the urchins because each urchin kind of had their own little. Giving kids flair is fun too. Like make one of them the mechanic kid.
Yeah.
You know, with the goggles and the wrench and the floppy overalls and stuff like that. And we go kind of endearing features like that.
Hey, there we go. I can hear you.
Hey, hello, Dave.
Hello, Aiden.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you.
Hello, Alejo.
Hi. Oh, hello.
Hello.
Being very formal today, I see. Hello.
Nah, just saying hi.
Yeah. I see. Are you using the new mic?
I am not.
Oh.
I went to the mailroom and it was not there, which is a bit worrying. It says it was marked as delivered at 11:18 a.m.
I was gonna say.
I have had history with USPS in particular says it's marked as delivered as soon as the truck leaves from the facility.
Oh.
Which I think is stupid.
Yeah.
But I will just pop in in a couple hours and see.
Okay. Yeah, that's weird. Okay. Yeah, because I got the email too. I literally have it right here, so.
I am not ruling out the possibility of porch pirates.
Yeah, that would be really fucking unfortunate.
Yeah, that would be.
Yeah. Okay. Well, keep me updated because I really want to get that too.
I checked at I think it was 2:30 and it wasn't there.
Okay.
And I was like, okay. And I just checked again.
Okay. Well, damn. All right.
Yeah.
Well, Aiden.
Yes.
Do you have any thoughts on children NPCs right now?
Yeah, so I have used a child NPC once, actually. And it was a harpy child in my first campaign. And it acted as essentially the party pet. It acted as what was for everyone at the table a first time D&D experience. It helped to provide a unifying experience for everyone to kind of rally around.
Fair.
Which provided some players that didn't have a lot of direction yet an early sense of direction. Until they established and characterized their characters more. And for that, Wrigley was her name. Will always have a near and dear place in my heart because that was also my first campaign.
Of course.
And that was my DMPC. However, I have used a couple very elderly characters, conversely.
Yeah.
But most all of those characters who I can think of were one-off, like, kind of joke NPCs
Sure.
and didn't really contribute much to the story as a whole.
Yeah, I feel like you can do a lot of the same arguments for older NPCs as you can for children, because like we were reading in the post, you can use them as something that is a lot more to add a lot more depth to a lot of things, like they could be a relative that's in hospice, you know, who is continuously like looked in on or taken care of, and if it's one that your villain is related to, you have that be both like a thing to say, well, they still care, but also be something, just like with the child, something that you can exploit, right? It's that thing of like, do you utilize this? Is this something that your characters are going to make the choice of saying, well, I got to stoop to this level to get to this guy, you know? Which could be very interesting. Depends.
Yeah, like child NPCs do also offer a lot of story hooks.
Yes.
Because you as the storyteller can like play off of that like childlike naivete.
Yes. True.
And I don't know. It's kind of a shame I haven't used more child characters now that I think about it.
Yeah, I'm not really, I don't really go towards them myself because it's not that I don't want to
But,
use them, it's just that they don't really come up in my mind right off the bat, you know?
yeah, no, I just mean like you could have like a nearby noble who
Oh, yeah.
the party is like friendly with, and there's a kid of the nearby noble who absolutely like sells out the party without realizing it.
Yeah.
And like the party is now reeling from this blow, and they're like fuck, 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 fuck. And the kid is just like a stupid little 8-year-old kid.
Right.
They don't fucking know shit.
Right.
And they're like,
They
"What's
thought they were
wrong?"
doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, like I could absolutely use like a hook, I guess, and a story element in that manner.
Yeah. Is Boo coming? Yes, he will be here later. Yes. Is at work for a while.
And kids can also kind of have their own internal logic, especially when they only hang around other kids.
True.
They develop their own stories that explain strange noises in the night or strange lights, weird experiences, and if they don't have an adult around to kind of explain those things to them, that becomes their personal mythos that they have between themselves and their friends.
Right.
Yeah,
the urchins. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, sort of piggybacking off of your point, like in a lot of my campaigns, a lot of kids have just been relegated to the role of like urchin, like street urchins scurrying about underfoot, and like they may have some thieves guild contacts, maybe, if they're like a 1 in a million kid for some reason, but like typically most urchins, like you don't, they're hardly worth a second thought, I guess. They're like scurrying about as you're on your way to your objective to talk to whomever.
Yeah.
I think they're part of the set dressing in a way.
Yeah. If you want to play up that disease is rampant in an area, you might talk about like urchins clinging to their mother's shawl or whatever.
Yeah.
The pathetic cough.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah. Get a coughing MP4 and then pitch shift it to be super high pitched and be like, oh, it's all the kids.
True.
The children are very sick. The mines in this region, the mines.
God.
Yeah. But going back to like the kid logic,
Right.
it does kind of give an avenue for interesting adventure hooks because especially if the player characters need something from the kids, like if the kids possess something that they don't know the true power, but the kids are like, okay, this is our bargain, this is our one bargaining chip, we need to get something out of it. So we've got these tough player characters that we can call on to do a thing for us. They could send the players to resolve some component of their sort of little internal logical mythos that's been troubling them for a long time, like the monster that they think billows steam out of the tunnels or something like that is nothing more than a drilling machine. So the players, instead of they may smash the drilling machine, who knows? They might be those kinds of players,
Right.
Or they might go to the drill team. Hey, can you divert the steam elsewhere or something? We really need this magical item from these children. And then the drillers are like, why are you talking to children? Children are blah blah blah.
Yeah.
That's kind of how it was with. Well, when I talk about urchins, I'm probably talking about the specific urchin gang from the scrapyard who kind of had their own traditions. But I think that if you have a gang of kids, you kind of have to have a rule for when someone leaves the gang. And that can be an adventure hook as well. Like someone was kicked out of the gang. They don't know what direction to take in life, but they're still kind of young, but they're still kind of have a head full of the kid logic.
Right. Going off of kid logic a little bit, and kind of like validating it in a way. I remember I'm a big fan of the Dresden Files, as I've said many a time. And great series. I can't wait for the next book. And it might even be out by this point. I don't actually know. I haven't kept up. But there was a short story that Jim Butcher put out that had to do with a child that I will not name because it's technically a spoiler. Yes. But one of the things that was going on was that the child, so it's urban fantasy. It's a lot of he even has said that he wanted to make a world where you could put a bunch of folklore and urban legends just in together and make it work, which really appeals to me.
Alejo, really quick, the two most recent Dresden Files books are Peace Talks, published July 14th, 2020, and Battleground, September 29th, 2020.
So I'm still up to date. Hell yeah. Awesome. I think it was supposed to come out in April, the next one, but maybe I was incorrect. Either way. Thank you.
Yeah.
The kid, so there's a bunch of like actual supernatural threats that are around, right? And the kid kind of in this story, you get it told to you from Dresden's perspective, the kid's perspective, and then the dog's perspective as a trip to the zoo. And in the kid's perspective and the dog's perspective, there are these entities that only children know about. And once you become a certain age, once you get out of the kid bracket, basically, you forget about all of it. Like, it's gone. But they still exist.
It seems very Kids Next Door.
Yeah. And I think it's just one of those things that the kid gets a book passed down that was from when another character was a kid, and kept a bunch of information of like what they are, how to deal with them, what, all this kind of stuff. And you get to see a little bit of that in the story. And I just think it's really interesting to have that kind of kid logic of, the boogeyman exists, and it's actually a thing that you have to deal with, that you wouldn't know otherwise unless you like gave credence to these children,
Yeah, that's super cool,
right?
I never knew that's what the story was about.
That's one of the short stories. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's to further develop some of the character relationships and stuff, but the main story is a wizard, an actual wizard, who
Oh, fuck yeah.
yeah, he's a professional wizard in Chicago who he advertises himself in the phone book and everything and solves problems for people that don't believe that he has magic, but he's literally
sort of like a gumshoe PI.
Yes. Actually, he has a private
But, yeah.
investigator's license and everything. Yes. And he's like super open about magic, but no one believes him unless they like see it, and even then they're like it's the series is fucking great. Let me tell you.
Does he ever stick a cigarette in his mouth and like light a flame at the tip of his finger to light it?
He doesn't smoke.
Oh.
I'm sorry. But he does have a spell called Flickus Bickus.
Okay.
Which lights candles and such.
That's pretty good.
Bickus being Latin, of course, for Bic lighter.
Literally, yes, that is part of the lore. Yes, he used a lighter. He did it to trick his mentor that he could do the spell, and then he developed it later. It's really good. That's a spoiler, unfortunately, but you know, it's very, very, very good. I would highly recommend going through all 19 books at this point. They're fucking great. I listened to all of them on Audible, and they're read by James Marston, who is if anybody knows Spike from Buffy.
Oh yeah, he does the audiobooks. I've listened to a couple of them, but he does not read out loud at my reading pace. So
okay, yeah.
I usually have to speed him up.
Fair enough. Yeah, no, he is Dresden for me. He just is now. He's done it for literally almost all of the stories, so he is just the voice, and I love it so much, and I can't wait. It's just next book. There's so much that's going on, and I need somebody to talk to about it. Nobody has read these books in my immediate circle. Anyway,
yeah, they used to be my my cardio exercise audiobook of choice.
Nice.
I think I only got through about 3 or 4 though.
Okay.
I'll take a look at them if I want to take a break off of Warhammer books.
Fair enough, dude. Yeah.
I'm currently going through The Lion, the Son of the Forest.
Oh, okay. Hell yeah.
Pretty decent.
Nice.
Oh, speaking of children, Space Marines have to start as children.
True.
They do.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's great to have as a bit of lore to really accentuate the gravity of what it is they go through.
Yeah, how early you have to be conditioned.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, how divorced they are from the human perspective.
Yes. Yep. And correct me if I'm wrong, Aiden. Spartans also, right?
Yes. Spartan 2s specifically. Spartan 1s were volunteers, but like they all died as they were like Spartanizing.
When they Spartaned all over the screen. I got you. Yeah.
yeah.
Spartan left and right. You
know? The Spartan 2s were children. Spartan 3s were, I believe, also young adults, I believe. But they were super expendable.
Right.
Spartan 4s were ODSTs specifically.
Ah, okay.
They by the Spartan 4 program, they had refined the process enough to be able to do it on adults.
Gotcha. Well, let's see. I probably wouldn't use many child NPCs, but maybe sometimes. That is fair. I feel like, again, children are one of those things that you should use sparingly. It's if you want to use them in like groups, you don't really need to necessarily give them individual personalities, but you can, obviously, if you really want to push a point home here and there and have an NPC that, you know, is recurring. But yeah, I feel like it's just one of those things that you don't want to. Oh my god, my cats. That you don't
let them in. They'll be fine.
No, they're gonna break literally everything. That's what they do every time they come in here. This room specifically now, they just climb the shit and everything, and I told them no. I'll go comfort them in a second here. But yeah, so sparingly, for sure.
Yeah, no, definitely sparingly, but like never underestimate the plot potential of a child.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's sparingly because it does get kind of weird when there's just kids everywhere.
Exactly.
They're always underfoot.
Yeah.
Yep.
You don't want it to be like real life. No.
No. Absolutely not. Too many kids. No. Guess I'll show up here too. Hello, Entropy. I liked it when Master Chief said it's Spartan time and Spartaned all over the place. That's right. It was the best part. Anyway, I'm gonna go and comfort my cats for a couple of seconds here, and then we will get to the video. So give me just a moment, and I'll be right back.
Okay. Yeah. Well, Aiden and I will talk uncomfortably for a couple of minutes here.
Yeah. How have you been, Dave?
A pretty tough week, but came out okay. Actually, I took Wednesday off because I was just absolutely beat up. Not literally, of course.
Yeah, I should hope not.
Yeah. This icon. No. This icon, by the way, is the premiere of my upcoming Blender icon. I'm trying to migrate from Moho to Blender.
The one in the group chat? Yeah. Sorry, no, at first I thought you meant the one in your Discord call, and I was like, I don't know, that one's old. I was super curious what it was for. Interesting. Hello?
Hello, sorry. Yes, hello.
Hello, Alejo.
What do I miss?
Not much. I was talking about where my icon came from. This is the premiere of my Blender icon.
Oh, hell yeah. Icon. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. I like how you have the two frames, one for like talking and one for not.
It should just be light and dark. I don't know what's going on.
Oh, no. Are you talking about the other one? The one that he shared?
The speech bubble one.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's a different thing. That's actually one of my players' characters. When I used to record, well, I still record on OBS, but I used to do like an overlay on OBS that had the players' portraits, and whenever they would talk, their speech bubble would pop up.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
It's very cool.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's Dolan the Droid Pimp. Because it was that kind of Star Wars game, let me tell you.
Cats for the third.
Not to put those in your main Discord so people can know what we're talking about.
You can if you want to. No worries. All right. Well, sorry.
No, never mind. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Let's proceed.
Okay. Well, let us move over to the video. One of the videos. This is Nerdarchy. Players bringing NPC children into a tabletop RPG game. This is a little under 10 minutes, in fact. Nerdarchy, of course, we've covered many a time. And I'm interested to see what this is about. I assume that it's not just, finding children in the game, but also maybe creating children for their characters, maybe, to have to take care of? I don't know.
Yeah. To preface this too, I'll say, like, this is not a well-covered topic on YouTube.
I can't hear anybody.
It is tough to find videos about this subject.
Yeah. Yeah, not many people probably putting children in the titles. Probably because,
Oh, yeah.
YouTube is like, hey, guess
YouTube
what?
and kids.
Yeah.
They just can't get it right.
Nope. Anyway, let us begin.
Hey guys, Dave from Nerdarchy, for nerds, by nerds, hanging out with these nerds.
Hey,
I'm Ryan. I'm Nerdarchy.
And today we have another viewer.
What happened to Ryan? That's the middle guy, apparently. Nerdarchy Ryan. I think that's what he said. I see him sometimes in these older videos, but he just left at some point. I don't know. It's like how Garibay was on Nerdarchy.
Oh, he only left. He didn't change. What happened to you, Ryan?
Yeah.
Question.
Nope, no idea, unfortunately.
Tweeted to us over on Twitter by @TheDevil'sTopHat.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah. So, at Nerdarchy, my player characters are falling in love and they want to bring a child character for themselves. How should I go about this?
Here's your hook.
Yep. We shall name the child Disarm.
Right, exactly. Well, so this is an interesting point before they get into it, I guess. The relationships in a tabletop role-playing game are themselves something we've kind of touched on once, a little bit. It's one of those things that, I mean, I haven't really thought about it in a TTRPG since like when we started, I did. Aiden, I if you remember, there was a few times in some of our early games that was like a thing that was kind of in place here and there.
Maybe
I
You're
remember.
asking me to refresh I don't quite remember, unfortunately.
Right, I remember specifically having your character with a barmaid at one point. It was, oh gosh, this was a long while ago. I don't know. There was one thing at one point.
All I remember of like the only thing that would connect, I guess, like earlier campaigns to like tonight's topic would be the kid that we forced to hide in the moat with the cauldron over his head.
Oh, I remember that too. That was a good time.
Yeah. Who died shortly thereafter.
Yes, he did. But
he came back as a skeleton.
That's right. It was fine.
Oh, have either of you ever read The Black Cauldron?
I've not read it. No, I've seen the
no.
movie.
I've seen the Disney version.
Yeah.
Okay, like the Black Cauldron, like, very quickly, like you throw a dead body into the Black Cauldron, and the Black Cauldron forms one of the Cauldron-born, a soldier who was in the allegiance of whoever threw them in the first place. So it's kind of like a manufacturing way of creating undead. It's actually kind of creepy. I would also like to point out that medieval cauldrons would have been cast iron, and the child probably would not be able to lift it off of him.
Well,
nope.
He died, so it's okay.
Certainly a struggle.
Yeah. But it would have been wild if y'all didn't know that was like the Black Cauldron, and you put it on top of that kid. And, like, the kid died. Comes back as a cauldron-born, like revenant.
I mean, he kind of did. He kind of became a warlock as well. So.
Okay.
He kind of sat for outside a goblin fort. No, dude, it was like an hour.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, and then he died shortly thereafter of unrelated hypothermia.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Damn.
But he came back as a skeleton warlock.
Right.
Interesting. Poor kid.
He was fine in the end.
Darkness for so long.
He got like made into a real boy again at the end. It was all good. But my
resurrections ain't cheap.
True. My original point, though, was just that relationships to then bloom into something that might create the characters having children, a situation in that kind of case, have not really been something that I've focused on in my games or even thought of really. For my own characters, because I don't know, it's just not something that appeals to what I'm doing usually, and I don't think I've made a character that it would make sense to do so with, because they haven't been in a situation where they've felt romantic about characters,
Yeah.
It's hard to, at least for me, navigate that in something like a TTRPG, at least at the moment, just because it's, I don't know, at least for us, I know that we don't really go that route just because it's just like, whatever, it's just not part of what we do.
Yeah, it really has to be woven into your gameplay. I mean, a lot of people do take Critical Role as their gaming templates.
True.
And like pretty much every Critical Role campaign, at least 2 or 3 player-to-player or player-to-NPC romances happen at some point.
That is true. Which, of course, I'm not saying for anybody out there who might misconstrue, it's not a problem or anything, obviously. It's just something that I don't really wrap my head around, usually.
Go for it.
Yeah, for sure. if it works for you in your campaign, do it. Though, if anything has led me to believe a certain way, all those horror stories make me go.
I did have a character who got married once to an NPC, but it largely happened like off screen. Like the character, the first couple times that the character appeared, they were a character, of course.
Yeah.
But then like what happened largely happened like off screen because it wasn't like a respectful use of everyone else's time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, unless everybody's on board, I wouldn't want to have that be a part of everything, you know?
Or they're watching.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And that's why I guess usually creating a character that already has those relationships in place is probably the better way to go, because then you also now have more story hooks that you can give for whoever's running it, right? Of like, oh, well, I'm married and I have a kid. It's like, oh, okay, hell yeah. Now I can endanger your family.
My character actually, in the D&D game that I'll be in next week, is married to an NPC who is jailed, and his whole character thing is, I need to get enough money to bond out my wife.
Oh, cool. Okay. Neat. But yeah, anyway, long story short, this is not a situation that I'm familiar with. Let us continue.
From the bonds of law to the bonds of marriage.
So it's a big discussion when you're going to bring an NPC into the world. Like, it's, you know, people have to be willing to take on the responsibility.
He's not asking about the process, right?
How does this happen?
Maybe. Yeah. We have to go into a birds and the bees
sort of discussion. When a mommy adventurer loves a daddy adventure very, very much. Yeah.
So this actually happened in one of my games between a player character and an NPC. So first of all, yes, once they fall in love, eventually there will be an egg involved.
Is what happens, yeah.
Yeah, and then more than...
I can hear this through your mic again, Aiden.
Oh?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
I'm getting into it too.
I'll try muting myself.
Yeah,
I have a theory.
It's not too bad, but...
I have a theory. I will try muting myself, and I will turn up my volume.
Okay.
Likely the significant other will be murdered gruesomely, and an evil quickling will probably steal the egg and try and corrupt it
and turn it into a demon
with infuse it with demonic energies. But I'm not sure how it will happen in your game. That's just how it happened in my game.
Yeah. Oh no, it happens like that every time. And that's how reproduction happens.
Romance at the table.
And then we explain this to a child, and that's how you're here, little Xanter snitch or whatever, trying to come up with a demon name on the fly.
So every table handles romance at the table differently. Yeah, but I think that this is really getting into the how do you stay an adventurer as a parent?
Yeah.
Oh, that's easy. You're making money for your family.
You abandon them. I mean, it kind of works too, but
well, that too. Sure.
Yeah, that's how you make money. I mean, especially in a fantasy, low tech, no tech setting. Typically, the dad is going to have to go away, or the mom is going to have to go away, or somebody's going to have to go away. I don't know whatever kind of relationship you have. Is going to have to go away and to do a thing. It might be hours and hours toiling in the field, or you're the rat catcher. You got to go where the rats are.
Yeah.
That's not just for adventurers, man.
Yeah, it's true.
You can leave the child NPC with another NPC who is like trustworthy, I hope.
Yeah.
And then just have your character be like, the established backstory for my character is that they are a parent. Like, boom, done.
Yeah, exactly.
They're motivated to want to be able to go home.
Yeah, so they'll try to survive.
So they can see their kid.
And also it gives you an easy out if you ever want to retire the character. It's just like, well,
that is also true.
Yeah.
Must teach my son the riddle of steel.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Why not?
Ooh.
Right? They just gotta hear those simple words that they hear every day. Daddy's gotta go to work. Then hopefully they come back. That's all.
Goblins aren't going to slay themselves.
Yeah.
The child NPC exists so then that way the initial character can disappear and that character too can suddenly appear with a different class when the player got bored of the first class.
Yeah, you could. You could indeed. You could indeed.
Right.
So it just makes me think of like the arc with Cable when he was running around with the baby on his back, and I personally just think that made him a really bad parent.
Yeah, right. Like there's a target on your back. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll pause there too. They're talking about an arc from like X-Men where Cable had a kid that he had to run around with, and this goes way before what's before and after Cable. You know, you've got like Lone Wolf and Cub. That manga series. I mean, just recently, of course, Mandalorian and Grogu. He's running around with a kid.
He really doesn't like taking care of that kid. It's crazy.
Yeah,
he's not a good parent. But yeah, no, it's that classic trope. It just and like it's good for that kind of storytelling. It's just usually, at least in my eyes, you want them to be able to at least speak. That's usually helpful because it helps with the characterization.
Speak, and if they can't speak, you basically reduce the kid to a MacGuffin.
Yes,
something that gets pushed and pulled around to motivate one side or the other.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, at that point in time, it is an item with a set amount of hit points that must be treated as an emotional tie.
Exactly.
You have to attune to a child.
You do.
You do.
You do indeed. Takes one of the slots. It sucks.
Takes 12 hours. Takes up one of your slots. It takes a long rest, you know.
Yeah. It's always taking a long rest, actually. Since Cornell and Veronica are going to have a kid soon, that should be interesting. Yeah, it'll be interesting for your lore and see how that changes your characters. When a dragon cultist loves Tiamat very much. Reminds me that arrow in the knee is a Nordic term for getting married. Yeah, that's true.
Oh, yeah.
Lone Wolf and Cub is cool. Yes, it can be.
It is.
As long as they don't, like we were talking about, use them as a MacGuffin more than anything. It's like, well, yeah.
Like I know that when you've got a baby, you're devoting a good portion of your life to the child. It's really hard to be like, all right, I'm gonna go into the goblin's lair.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you that. How did that work out for you when you were bringing your kids out adventuring with you into the dungeon?
It didn't, every
It didn't.
parent
They're dead. Oh God! Why did you bring that up on the show, man?
Oh, here's an interesting exploit. If you're taking your child with you and your child takes the feat mounted combatant, and you make a dexterity save against an area effect, like the mount, instead of taking half damage, takes no damage.
Right.
So if the baby gets to level 4 and takes the mounted combatant trait, can you exploit that to basically give yourself monk's dodge?
How feasible do you think it is for me to put a Gui's arm in the hands of a 3-year-old?
You have to make a special mount for them to use it, though. It's on your shoulder as well that they get to wave around because they like waving it around. You get a little bell on it, so they just jingle it around all the time.
Yeah. You put some keys at the very end.
They're just and then they're just killing all the goblins in front of you. It's crazy. Take your child to work day must be just the worst for adventurers. Yes, exactly.
Handles things differently, and it's like, all right, well, you know, when you got a young baby, you need to step down some of your activities. You know, you need to have less things going on. So if you were to sit back and say, all right, well, let's take a baby into the goblin's lair or into the, you know, the
and mind
dungeon.
you, we're not judging you for this. We're just saying certain government agencies may.
There should be like a medieval like child protective services in your world that like comes and like harass.
I watched this earlier, and like this could be an entire campaign.
Oh yeah,
Fantasy Child Protective Services.
yeah. You play as the agents.
The agents, yeah. On the one hand, you know, you've got a call where a dark ritual is, you know, happening. You bang down the door. These cultists are summoning a demon.
Right.
But off in the corner, you see the baby. You know, it's got a nice crib, well fed, clean. Seems to be getting a decent amount of attention. I don't see any problem with this.
Yeah, this is fine.
Step
Actually,
back out again.
hey, okay.
Go on your way. And also, you mentioned the harpy child. You could also be like, you're trying to find foster homes for monster children.
Yeah,
Or something.
that'd be cool.
Who's gonna take this beholder?
Beholderkin? Yay!
Beholder kid.
It's just
Not the wizard.
Harasses them for the party. They're like, why are you taking this child into danger? Like, have their child, you know, like taken
So,
away.
like, yeah, I just don't think it. I don't think it's very fitting to what's going on. You know, if somebody wants to do it, I would have to have that child as an NPC where things are going to come up where it's going to complicate the situations. You know, you get struck in combat. It's like, all right, well, do you drop your sword or do you allow the baby to fall to the ground? You know, like I'll give you that you just get to catch the child, but you're either disarmed to catch it or you let that baby fall. You know, different things are going to come up, and it's going to be a constant challenging situation if you're carrying a baby into combat.
Honestly, I think that's generally when most adventurers would retire.
I would agree, but if they're pushing the boundaries and say, no, this is what we're going to do, how do you handle it?
So, I mean, one of the things you could do is you could just...
The fucking
Is there a damage bonus if you two-arm the baby?
yes, of course. It
You
might
just roll a
be
D10 instead of a D8.
It might be an improvised weapon, but that doesn't mean that it can't do a D8 of damage. I mean, come on.
Whoever it was on the left that said, I would think it's at this point that most adventurers would retire, needs to amend his statement to be, I would hope at this point most adventurers would retire.
Exactly.
Because I have played with some tables, man.
Yeah.
Also, piggybacking off of the point of using the child as a weapon, Dark Souls 3, Osiris the Consumed King. Anyone?
Oh, I see, yeah. Yes, that's very true.
You could just...
The fucking orcs are like, what are you doing? You're bringing your baby on a raid. What parent does that?
Yeah, you start getting parenting advice from orcs is what happens. Like, what's wrong with you?
Look, what, you got to.
The ogre Grog is like, Grog don't understand why you have a small child with you.
You get reprimanded by every foe you encounter is pretty much what happens. So, what the hell was I going to say? Oh, that you could sort of like fast time it where the characters and the adventuring party, like, they just take off for some years.
That's also true. Using it as a downtime aspect, yes.
Oh, yeah.
That way you can have it be. If you want to include the child as something that's happening in the game, like as an NPC, like as a mentor-mentee kind of thing, where then it's like, all right, kid, you're 12, you can hold a sword, and I've taught you how to jab with it. All right, you're going to start going with me, and you're going to be both my hireling and the thing, like my vessel for all of my knowledge, you know? And so they give him like 3 years off, 4 years off, whatever, you know? And it's like, oh.
Come along on my adventure, child, and help me don and doff my armor.
Exactly. They're your squire, basically, at that point, right? Like,
Oh, yeah.
it's not a bad idea to then have the world state change because of it. That way you can continue to have these new adventures and stuff and have the world feel fresh. And have these things that have literally changed the world because of the children being born and everything. So, yeah, I like that as an idea. Absolutely.
Got some good chat here.
Bringing my baby to war will be fine. Maybe. Yeah. That horny bard in the party has kids everywhere, I bet. That is true. That is true. Actually, if you have 2 children, can't you dual wield them and teach each of them to dual wield so you can get 4 attacks? Yes. Yes, absolutely. And they're small, so they can be in the same space as you. It'll be great.
You can
Like,
action search the
not-
children.
True.
I mean, if you're a fighter, you can action surge at level 1.
That is true.
Adventuring, and then you just fast time it ahead, like, you know, like 12, 15 years or whatever. Like, all the player characters are that much older, and then you have like a first level, like, child hireling.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
Hey.
like he's 15.
Hey.
Like,
Yeah,
your
like-
very own
I've not pre-watched, I promise.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, well, you know, if you're talking medieval times, like, you're kind of considered
Well,
a
again,
man at 15. so-
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. So.
You know, you've already done whatever your apprenticeship is or your background. So
Yeah, so, like, you know, you could be adventuring.
now, if they're
14,
actually like a demi-human, it gets even more complicated because it takes even longer
yeah, yeah.
for them to kind of mature.
right.
So they're all
goes.
considerations, and I'm sorry if we're not taking your
Well, you know, half
question
god
very
type
seriously,
of
but
Hercules,
honestly,
whatever.
like
In that respect. Oh, I thought he was just talking about like
Yeah.
tieflings and such. Oh, okay. Fair enough.
who would take a baby with them or a child?
You know,
Yeah,
those
that was-
epic level rewards.
True. I am Robbie the Robot. How much damage does wielding a child do? Say a dragonborn 4-year-old spoiled brat you can swing about by the tail. Well, hello, first off.
Yeah, Robbie's one of my players.
Oh, okay, okay.
Welcome to the podcast, Robbie. I'll stick around for as long as I can.
Hello and welcome.
But yeah, you know, it would probably be, like I was saying, you know, it's an improvised weapon, so you're doing a D4 base usually, right? But if you if you two-hand
Like the
it,
bar brawler feat. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
do a little more.
yeah.
I would argue if you have, like, if you are a dragonborn and you have a child NPC sitting on your tail,
Yeah.
that this should double your vision, and thus you should be immune from being surprised.
Ooh. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, they scream if they see something. So
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Okay. You know what? I'm coming around more so. Bringing the child around into every adventure seems more and more useful if I get to have things like these.
I
like we're-
will, as a DM, make you roll strength rolls to, like, continue lifting your child in the air on your tail all fucking day.
I do feel like we're heading in the direction of the child Voltron inevitably.
Yes. Exactly. It's the
You have
the
a
baby
one
armor.
wrapped around your head,
Yeah.
one arm, one leg,
Yeah.
tail.
It's really better to just, like, have the child strapped in on a harness, like, facing behind you
Yeah.
on your shoulders.
Exactly.
Sort of like Mimir from God of War.
Yeah. You get your child backpack. They are useful.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, exactly. Have them just facing behind.
Exactly. You don't get
You
to
can watch
look
out
at
for
me,
pickpockets.
child. You look for danger. That is your purpose.
The villains see that and they start approaching
Yeah.
with candy because candy's not dangerous.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Well, the villains will be approaching from the front.
Yeah, no, exactly.
And
Oh,
the
okay,
child's
yeah.
not looking to the front.
Well, no, if you want to backstab, you just have candy and you walk up to the
Mm.
child with candy.
True.
True.
Either that or just like a little toy and just be like, here you go. And then you go,
Yeah.
oh.
Born of love into dangerous situations. It doesn't really make any sense.
Like-
I mean, as a parent, my
Well,
duty is to protect and nurture my children.
Let's take it from another angle. Look at it a little bit more seriously. What if the situation is kind of more like a, you know, scavenger-esque, Dark Sun-esque kind of situation where, like, the entire world is a
Is
problem.
hostile.
It doesn't matter where you go, what you do, you know, you're dealing with this situation. So I would look at, okay, well, you're going to have to hire on, you know, an NPC to
Care for the-
to
or
care
hold
for,
and carry
you know,
it,
and
usually.
deal with stuff. So while you actually enter combat, there is someone between the hostile and the baby, and
Or you go the Renshai route. be like, if this child cannot survive, it does not deserve to survive.
Yeah.
And that's that's completely a way to go as well. But Renshais have a
Yeah, it is very setting specific. Yeah, that's definitely a good point. You could be. Think about Cadia. You'll probably heard at least heard of Cadia and the Warhammer 40k settings.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
They basically conceive and have children literally on the battlefield.
Yeah.
Like there's entire regiments of just pregnant women in that setting.
It makes sense. I mean, you got to pay the tax first off.
Yeah,
But
you
your
got to make the tithe. Got to
Yeah.
fight the chaos.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Um.
You don't want to be accused of heresy now.
Yeah. Exactly.
Start making out.
Can love really bloom on a battlefield? Does it need to? Is the follow-up question?
Yeah, exactly. Love, maybe, probably not.
No, but duty always.
Yes. But a child can still be born.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, actually, I'm gonna redact that. That statement might have implications.
Yeah.
Oh God. Sure, you can give my ADHD kid candy. I'm just
Duty
gonna
for
sit
the
over.
Emperor can still be done.
Yes. Sure, you can give my ADHD kid candy. I'm just going to sit over here when you run out. Yes, exactly. There you go.
Yep.
That's right. But yeah, we were saying it before of like the dynamics that you usually see in a lot of media. And my immediate thought, actually, even though I haven't played it yet, but I know enough about God of War. You have the kid that Kratos is trying. That Kratos is trying to teach to survive, basically, because the world is a horrible place.
You must kill the gods as I have.
Exactly.
I'm surprised I haven't run out yet.
Hey man, he's going between all of the pantheons, all right? I'm okay with this, But there's that. I can think of like I haven't seen it yet, but I know of in Logan. You have Logan and X-23. That kind of pairing as well. Trying to keep that.
Oh right, I always forget X-23 exists.
Yeah, it's because everyone else has for some reason. I mean, to be fair, it's because that story is technically not in the universe anymore and all that shit, and they've ruined it.
Yeah,
again.
in the comics, she's actually an adult, and now there's another smaller X-23 or something.
Oh.
I don't know.
I don't know. Multiverses are weird. All right.
Yeah.
There's only like select things that I'm like, this is okay. But currently, it's even worse. Like how Bloodhook the Orc fought pregnant in my lore. That's true. You did write that. I remember that. Yeah, reading that. So does the screaming kid cause a distraction or other difficulties the parent is immune to? Yeah, I mean, I would think that it would have to be somewhat of a hindrance in some instances, like what Dave was saying in the video. Not this Dave, but Nerdarchy Dave. In the video of like having some sort of penalties here and there, potentially, because like, and also it depends on the age of the child. Usually you want to probably have one who's a little bit more mature, but still has that child-esque-ness. So like if they get frightened and you're in a place where, I don't know, you're trying to be stealthy and so they scream out because they're like, then it's like, oh, well, yeah, that's a consequence that could happen if you bring them into this, situation, right? But if they're like an actual baby, like they're joking about here, well, yeah, the baby won't go to sleep. The baby want food. The baby cry. That's probably going to do something.
It never end with the baby.
It never ends.
Imagine you are in a party of like 5 or 6 adventurers.
Yeah.
And one of them has their baby with them. You are in the Underdark, and the baby is crying.
Oh, no. Oh.
Yep, it's
Why'd you do
bad.
this?
Yeah.
Everybody in the party looks at you, when the baby starts crying, and then everybody moves away from you immediately. Right?
Really, right in the middle of an adventure.
I fed him. I literally just fed him. Oh, it probably means he pooped. You gotta go change him.
No, guys, he's just gassy.
Yeah, yeah. Just gotta burp him. That's all. Yeah.
What's up, dude?
Hey. Welcome back. How you doing?
Booster.
Hello.
How do you do?
I do. I'm tired.
Fair.
It's a long day.
Fair.
Oh.
Yeah. How you guys
We
doing?
formally
Doing
meet
alright.
for the first time.
That's true.
The first time, it took 9 hours to
That's right.
build my PC because I fucked it up.
Ooh.
I remember this.
But yeah,
And I
now
kept
I'm
giving
here.
you redundant advice. So I'm sorry
Yeah.
about that.
No, you're fine. You guys were trying to help.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was my fault
It's all good.
because well, that's a whole other story.
You've joined us in the middle of the Nerdarchy video about children, NPC children.
Yes, welcome to the show.
Mhm.
What are your thoughts on NPC using NPC children? I guess.
I think something that's really important with NPC children is to not make them annoying.
True.
Mhm.
I think it's important to, as long as their intent isn't to be annoying, try to make them endearing and try to, at least get the players invested in wanting to help them or fight against them or whatever their place in the plot is. I think the best example that I can point to for annoying kids is Skyrim and Fallout. Dear God, I hate the kids in those games.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Fallout especially.
They have-
Boys,
Yeah.
girls, dragons. There's nobody I won't fight.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like
Jesus.
okay, so I don't know if you know this. I don't know if any of you have ever played Skyrim before. Not many people have. It's a little niche.
Yeah, it's a little indie game.
Yeah.
Yeah, little mom and pop shop. But base game.
It was released only 11 times.
Yeah, only yeah.
Yeah. We're waiting for 12.
Base game, you can't kill the kids.
Yep.
Because there's actual, I want to say there's like laws or something in there that makes it so that you can't do it. I don't remember.
Yeah,
It's age rating shit.
yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, fair.
Ah.
But there are mods that let you kill the kids in Skyrim. That's how much people fucking hate them that they went out of their way to mod in the ability to kill them because
Exactly.
they're such little pieces of shit.
Yeah. They really serve no purpose.
Yeah,
It's like-
and they're
Never
just
bothered me
constantly
that much.
Yeah.
There's also the fact that the audio mixing is different on their voices.
Yeah.
So I'm just walking around town and it feels like it sounds like this kid is yelling
In
into
my
my
ear,
ear,
yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm like,
Oh,
where
okay.
the fuck are you? And they're 2 stalls over.
Exactly.
Mm.
Yep.
Yeah, so especially in Fallout, it's even worse in Fallout, which is hilarious to even think. But yeah, it's not. Don't do that if you're gonna have kids in your game. Do your best to not make them insufferable, because otherwise, no one is going to want to engage with them, or they're just gonna want to kill them.
Right.
What
Or
do you
get-
think about the little lamplighter kids, I should ask?
I didn't really like them. There was only one that I liked. It was one of the girls, I want to say, because she was nice. And that was the only one that I liked.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The only
I
one
don't
who
remember
gave me
her
the time
name.
of day. That's true.
Yeah, everybody else was super fucking mean, and I understand why.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I don't... it's still annoying.
Okay.
I with Little Lamplight especially, I just kind of went through it and I was like, oh yeah, you guys you don't like people that are grown up. Okay, cool. Whatever.
Yeah, I really wanted to try to sell them into slavery. I'm gonna be honest. I tried.
Wow.
Yeah, no, there's a side quest where
Yeah,
you
I
can...
remember.
Yeah, there's a bunch of slavers who are like, yo, child slaves are the best because they still have their whole lives ahead of them.
Yeah.
So you'll have a slave for a long time.
Right. Yeah, no.
And so they're very valuable. So I tried to get most. I don't think I got any of them. I was
Right.
I was very annoyed.
But yeah,
They're
'Cause I'm
rascally
like-
little things.
Yeah, because I'm like, ooh, I don't like this one. You're gonna be a slave.
yeah, no.
You
It's
can also, looking back on it, I do have like positive emotional affiliations whenever I think about the little sisters in BioShock.
oh yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
And that's because they show up. They're a fun fight against a Big Daddy.
Mhm.
And then the kid gives you a little plasmid reward
Yep.
and scurries off.
Yep.
And they're a little collectible, and that you then collect enough of them, and then you get the good ending.
That is true.
Yeah.
No.
That is true.
Yeah.
But yeah,
You
no,
can't-
I love the little sisters. I
Yeah.
also love the big sisters. They're fucking scary.
Yes.
From BioShock 2,
Yes.
specifically.
I did not play
You
enough
should.
BioShock 2.
You should.
Oh,
I
you
really
need to.
should.
Yeah, it's good
really
stuff.
good.
It is actually very good. Yeah.
But yeah,
I
I love the little sisters. They're great.
yeah. They don't really have too much like to do in the game that it really does much of anything other than say, "Oh, come over here, Mr. Bubbles," and all that kind of
But
stuff.
yeah,
But-
because they are because they're victims.
Yes.
You know?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. They
And
have that
so-
sympathy.
And and so
Yeah.
that's exactly. You have the sympathy for them, and they aren't annoying.
Yes, that is true.
Yeah.
And you can choose to exploit them or not,
True.
but I usually choose not to.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever gone through and done the bad ending stuff with that. Cause it's
I
just
have.
Like,
I've done it once.
I
Just to
need
see.
to just to like get that through, just because it's like, well, you know, but
You also get a shit ton of Adam.
yeah, that's the thing, right? It makes you so you're way more powerful, obviously, and then it's the contrast
Yeah.
of like you chose the power over the humanity and all that,
Mm-hmm.
right? But yeah, so yeah, kids, good for that kind of thing as well, of showing that descent into evil as well. Timothy says hi, boo.
Hello. Oh, you know what? I don't mean to interrupt. I don't mean to I don't mean to sidetrack.
Derail.
But Dave,
Yeah.
correct me if I'm wrong. I may be remembering this wrong, but when we were first starting to get to know you, were you a writer for RPGs? Have you written RPGs and stuff? Or no? No. Okay. What was your what did you do? I forget because I had a question for you.
What does David do for?
Yeah, right. What did you do in relation to RPGs? Because I could have sworn that I had a question for you, like editing
I think
or something like that.
I think you're thinking of Peter.
Oh, am I thinking of Peter?
Yes.
Yeah, you might be.
You're thinking of Peter.
Okay, I apologize
He's the
then.
one who's creating content that is published.
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Okay, that was it.
Yeah. Dave
I
here.
apologize.
I do find it interesting that you can. It seems like RPG, supplements and things like that seem to be a lot more accepting of self-publishing than like actual general fiction is.
True.
Yeah.
It is true.
Yeah, if you make something really good, you can actually get some attention and start actually moving copies.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you know, then you may have heard me talking about it, but I've been writing Call of Cthulhu for about 5 years now. And I'm about 6 adventures in. I'm on the 6th one now. And my biggest question that I have right now, and you don't have to answer it, it's just kind of a rhetorical thing now, is how the hell do I find trustworthy people to edit and like play test, Because I'm so fucking paranoid about giving it to anybody because I'm like, oh god, someone's gonna steal it.
Well, it's good you brought this up. Actually, I've popped up on another friend's podcast called the Eclectic Goat. Have any of y'all run into her before?
Not heard. No.
She actually has some editing background, and she does promo work for people who do homebrew and self-publishing RPG content and stuff like that.
Cool.
Okay.
I'll link her channel and just pop in and just ask her because she's done editing, professional editing and stuff like that. So she may be able to answer those better than
There you
I.
go.
Okay.
Hey, networking.
She does are really nice.
Cool.
That's great, because, when you spend so much time and effort on something, time, effort, and money, I should say, on something like that, I want to make sure that it doesn't get, just lifted and stolen,
Yeah. Let's see.
Uh,
How do I
Where
get the
is it?
server link? I'm terrible at this.
Maybe you can get the artificer to make some kind of amplification device so you can use the screaming baby as a sonic weapon. Yes, that's good.
Oh, God.
We should be able to
Do
do
that.
Pretty good.
I don't even know if you need the amplifier.
Mm.
All right.
Depends on the child, really.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, just get the hit boxes within an enclosed space.
Yeah.
True.
Like a plane? Oh boy.
Ugh. Yeah, it just has to be somewhere that they can't leave.
Yeah. Exactly.
Mm.
Enclosed, and they can't leave.
Really harsh level of lifestyle.
I'm trying to find her her link. Maybe it's at the bottom here. It's we'll continue on. I'll make sure to put that in.
Yeah, no worries.
No worries. You're good.
Yeah, you're good.
So I will say you probably need to take a little bit of time off, like to have go through the pregnancy, because really, like if they're gonna be adventuring and pregnant, and being in combat, I would say that's like every time you're in combat and you're pregnant, miscarriage chance.
Well, I mean, an injury to the
Jesus.
stomach. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's
Yeah,
true.
that's all
Don't get me wrong.
okay.
It's true. It's just one of those things.
yeah.
I will say you probably need to take a little bit of time off, like to have go through the pregnancy, because really, like if they're gonna be adventuring and pregnant, and being in combat, I would say that's like every time you're in combat and you're pregnant, miscarriage chance.
Well, I mean,
I don't want to dive too deeply into the minutia of it, but it does really heavily matter. Are we talking like 3 months pregnant or
That's
8
true.
months?
Yeah.
Exactly. I feel like there's a there's a fine line that you can do.
Yeah.
Obviously, but yeah. I mean, again, it's if you want to have that be in the game or not. That's really up to you and your table, right?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, if one of the characters winds up getting pregnant, I would probably just, unless there is some huge time constraint thing,
Yeah.
I would probably just be like, cut to black, and we resume after everything.
Right. Yeah. Take a year, and then it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, you're pregnant and you want to carry this child.
Yes.
I don't know if you would even be willing to go into combat.
Yes. Exactly.
injury to the stomach. Well, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's not even just getting injured. Like, there's some things in combat that you're probably doing that is not, good for pregnancy. Like,
Well, lifting heavy weight.
Getting hit, wearing full plate, any of that stuff.
Jumping, running.
All the things that the doctors tell you to not do a lot of things while you're pregnant. So,
any of that stuff. I mean, you can exercise and stuff like that, but I'm sure like they don't mean like combat roles.
What do you
Yeah,
suppose?
fat
I mean,
roll.
are there side effects for like healing potions, for example? I mean, do they list the side effects on the side?
Yeah, right?
Do not consume if pregnant. Yeah.
Do not do an enlarge reduce potion, okay? just don't.
Exactly. Exactly.
Health potions, turns out they contain thalidomide.
Oh no. Is it a human that's
I don't
pregnant? I mean, I feel like it's valid for any race. Doesn't matter.
I don't know.
No.
I don't think we would need to worry too
No.
Deeply about like if a character is pregnant, I guess.
Mhm.
Like if they are capable and the table deems that they're capable, it's a question for the table.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And additionally, I don't want to be here in a group of everyone in this call identifies as a man, watching 3 other dudes talking about pregnant characters.
I think it's okay to an extent because we're mostly talking about like physicality and biology.
Yeah.
That's kind of indisputable. Like if you're like 6 months pregnant and you get kicked in the gut, probably pretty bad.
Yeah. Don't really want that kind of to be a thing.
Well,
Yeah,
but what I'm saying is, like, we don't have necessarily anyone on hand who would have a better idea of, like, truly what the biology and the physicality of.
Oh, sure.
Of,
Yeah, I mean,
like-
we're not
Yeah.
even going. We're just literally just going through. I'm just kind of
Now,
ignoring this.
you could also invert this in a way and like see the child is a byproduct of a terrible warlock pact and will actually defend itself inside the womb.
Oh,
So like
Ooh,
someone
that's interesting.
tries to hit the gal and like this force field, like force field or mage shield pops up
Right.
suddenly to
Ooh.
takes away a
And
spell
move
slot
out.
without you knowing.
9 months pregnant subclass?
But like it actually like takes away an actual spell slot. Like it actually will do that.
Yeah.
Like legitimately,
yeah.
that would be great. Actually, I feel
want to feel the baby kicking, knocks the kid across the room.
right. Yeah, yeah. It uses thunderclap immediately. Just fucking. That'd be great. Actually, yeah.
That'd be very funny.
Yeah.
Well, it's not even just getting injured. Like, there's some things in combat that you're probably doing that is not, good for pregnancy. Like,
Well, lifting heavy weight. and-
Getting hit, wearing full plate, any of that stuff.
jumping,
Saying,
running.
is it?
Yeah,
all the things that the doctors tell you to not do a lot of things while you're pregnant. So,
Yeah, any of that
exposure to
stuff.
bodily
I mean, you
fluids.
can exercise and stuff like that, but I'm sure like they don't mean like
Which
combat
ones?
roles. Or dodging arrows and fireballs.
Yeah. So like leaving the child with like a parent and like a friendly NPC or like a grandparent or something like that might be another reasonable thing.
Yeah, you could
Yeah.
you could definitely do it where the child is an NPC. It does not actually travel with you, but it becomes a point of issue. You are going to have a more cyclic adventure, where you start in town and end in town. You've got therefore you can get to go home. You might spend a day or two on the road, adventuring stuff, but you're back, at the end of that to, have time in between adventures with your family or with the child. You have the ability to have villains come up and they understand like, this adversary has a child. Is it going to get kidnapped to be killed, to be converted? Like what kind of interesting things can happen, with that child?
It could even lead to a point of like a connection between the heroes and the villain, right? Of like the villain also has a kid, so like they can connect on that level at least to try to like talk him down, like
Won't someone think of the children?
right, exactly.
Literally.
But
You
yeah,
can have like the heroes are going to have the villain cornered soon. But a threat arises at home and the hero at least some of the party needs to go back to like protect their kids.
yeah, you can have a pretty organic split of the party that way.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
It's a
Children are
shame
useful.
it's a shame that the child will never be able to be a rogue because they have parents.
Yes.
I don't know, actually, statistically speaking, if their parents are adventurers, that
Yeah.
child is more likely to grow up becoming a rogue.
Yeah, because they're gonna fucking die.
True.
Have an entity make a warlock pact with the child. That would be awesome. And then they have to find as they get higher levels, they have to go destroy the thing that's able to grant power to the child and break that contract or whatever.
I would look at real world examples like soldiers that are parents, law enforcement that are parents. That's where I would live. People that kind of have dangerous jobs.
Firemen.
Firefighters, loggers, like any dangerous job.
You know what? People that do like
the Alaskan fishermen.
Well, fishermen or like the sort of like the oil rig type of people that have to go away for like extended periods of time.
Yeah, oil sands in Canada, that kind of stuff. These are all things you could look at for inspiration from the real world and see how those families function. And then you just you might have to extrapolate from that and go, well, what if both parents are doing that?
Right.
Which is going to be a little bit rarer, but it does happen.
Right.
So that'll give you that'll also point you in the direction, I think.
Yeah.
So we kind of went on the wonky side first, but I think we definitely brought it around with some serious suggestions and ideas. I like Dave's idea about looking into real world examples. So what do you guys out there think? How would you handle this in your games? Would you give it the thumbs up or the veto?
Oh, thanks for
Put
asking.
your thoughts and feelings down in the comments below while you're at it. Like, share, even subscribe.
And hang out with us over at nerdarchy.com.
You can patronize us in a good way over on Patreon.
So until next time, stay nerdy.
Okay, I really like that.
That's really good.
Patronize us in a good way.
Mm.
Yeah, no.
Yes, absolutely.
I
good video from Nerdarchy.
yeah. They
Mhm.
they usually put out good stuff. I haven't found anything that I've been like super against from them.
Have we ever found a Nerdarchy video that Garabay's in?
I have one still in the backlog.
Very good.
I do. I have one. It's about 4E, and
Oh god.
yeah, we'll get to it when we talk about 4E again sometime for sure.
Yeah.
But
It's
yes,
gonna be very interesting.
Well, now that we got Boo here and we're done with this one video, like kind of steering back to that original Reddit post.
Yeah.
I don't know if you got a chance to look at that yet or anything like that, but
Mm-mm.
it kind of talks about how like children are like a really good shortcut for kind of emotional, impactful moments. Like kids who admire heroic characters or
Mhm.
making villains more sympathetic by giving them kids
Mhm.
and stuff like that, and about how it's kind of how did we describe it? A way of like really high stakes but low scale
yes,
using kids.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
I think
go ahead.
I think the only hitch might be just the fact that some of the player characters may or may not care.
It's very true.
That's
Yep.
about the only
Yeah.
thing. But if they do, absolutely. If they are the type of character or the type of player who would care about that, then absolutely, that is a great way to do it. And hell, you know what? I'll even give this away for free. I do have plans to use a child in my Cthulhu thing.
Yeah.
And it should hopefully be pretty effective.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll have to see.
Mhm.
That remains to be seen. It's going to be fucking years before any of that even happens. So.
I would I could point to there's I showed the podcast to Boo at one point. The Apocalypse players. They do Call of Cthulhu mainly on their show, their actual play. And one of the most recent ones has a lot to do with conception and pregnancy in one of their things. It's what was the I'll get you the name.
Shub Nigaroth, got it.
It kind of, yeah. But this was I think this was a custom thing that was based off of a different kind of thing.
Okay.
Let me give you the name of the camp or the adventure. There it is. It was no, it's not the Moonchild. Oh no, the Moonchild is another one. Moonchild is a different one as well. Sorry. So there's the Moonchild, and then there was the more recent one, which was oh, I'm going the wrong way. That's why I can't find it. Magnum Tenebrosum as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so both of those actually do have a lot to like with conception and a lot of things like that you can utilize for horror.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like it's especially effective, I think, when you have the younger children in those horrific kind of settings, because it really does give you that extra punch of like, well, fuck, man, this is affecting. Yeah, it doesn't matter who it is; it's affecting everybody. You know.
Mm-hmm. This is something that tears the minds away from adults, let alone childs.
Exactly.
I remember that there is one. I don't remember what the hell the name of the scenario itself is, but basically, I remember. It's called The Dare. It's called the Dare.
Yes. Oh, the Dare. Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
That's a Call of Cthulhu scenario where all of the characters are childs.
Yep.
They're all childs, and they even have ways to build your own kid investigator.
Yes.
And it's called Call of Kid Thulu, which is great.
It's really
that's
good.
cool.
Yeah. I actually really want to play that sometime. It sounds
Yeah.
fucking fantastic.
Yes. So I won't spoil anything at all,
Yep.
but the basic premise is that a whole bunch of kids get dared to spend the night over in a haunted house in
Yep.
their neighborhood.
Yep. It's a very simple premise that is very good.
Yes.
Honestly.
It's very like 80s kids movie, like kids adventure movie.
Yeah,
At least in
Goonies, that
terms
sort
of
thing.
Yeah, Goonies for
like
sure.
yes. For example, they're in the Call of Kid Thulu sheet. One of your skills is called playing with matches. And it is just anything that maybe your parents probably would tell you not to do.
Exactly.
As a kid. It's great.
Yeah, it seems like a very fun way to have that same stuff happening, but with a different kind of perspective.
And you could totally do a JoJo where you have an adventure where you're kids, and then you pick up later as like teens, and you go through the lives of these investigators.
Yeah,
Obviously, probably won't last that long,
it reminds
but,
me
you
of
know.
it reminds me of like It in a way as well, because the concept for It, you have the kids that then grow up and they have to face the thing later, the
Yes.
It.
They have to face it.
They do. They have to face
Yeah.
It.
Super 8 is not one of my favorite films, but it does kind of make me think of
Yeah,
Super 8, where all these
Super
kids
8.
are playing adult characters in a movie that they're making within the
Yeah.
movie.
Gosh, I haven't thought about Super 8 in forever.
We were in Vietnam together. It's
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man.
Unfortunately, the site to download the Call of Cthulhu rules is temporarily closed for maintenance.
Aw, what
Well,
a shame.
well,
No.
yeah, maybe tomorrow.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah. But yeah, that was the other thing. Going back to the Reddit post. With the kind of giving that perspective with children, if you have them in the setting, we were talking about their kind of logic and everything, how they view the world, and getting information from kids. Like actually in when we played Delta Green, and it was the Malice in Michigan, the Dogman one.
Yes. Okay.
I had I actually did have a kid who you could have talked to. You never did, because you talked to everybody else who was an adult, and all that kind of stuff. And I don't think I alluded to the kid well enough. I think being a witness to basically what had happened. Who had like these let me pull up the notes. I'm pretty sure I have them somewhere here, but like he basically had the like he had drawn like these scary kind of things, and he had his own view on what had happened and like how he had rationalized it, basically, that you could have talked to try to like figure out what had happened maybe from that kid's perspective, which
how accurate information would we have gotten from him, or would he have been?
It would have been,
like, too traumatized?
I guess, percentage wise, it might have been like 40% accurate. You might have gotten some things that you could have extrapolated via other people's, viewpoints as well.
Yeah,
like
testimonies and stuff.
exactly.
Could have corroborated.
Yeah, exactly. To see what is like actually happening and everything. I had completely forgotten about that until I had looked into. We had talked about this. So, but yeah, that was another kid that I forgot that I used. And like having
Imagine
that.
this kid like smoking a little candy cigarette, and he's got a Coke in one hand. He's like,
Yo.
I seen some things, man. You have no idea what I seen.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. No. It's I like the idea of it being kind of inherently a puzzle as a character,
Yeah.
because it's just like, well, they have this information, and hell, if you have it so that the kid is like one of the only witnesses to whatever might have happened, it's like, well, they're valuable because they have the information. You just have to kind of associate this with other things so that they can then confirm or deny it, you know? So like as the
Hook me
investigation,
up with a 6-pack of Jolt and maybe a toss.
yes, exactly. But yeah, as an investigation goes on, you then like bring the information to the kid. Like, did it sound like this? You know, did you see it? Did it have any of this kind of stuff? Give them the leading questions, which may or may not work out well because of the fact of memory and all of that kind of stuff, right?
Would you describe this as particularly skibbity or phantom?
I fucking hate you. I fucking hate you so much.
So I was thinking to like back to like Lethal Weapon when
Yeah.
they're talking to those kids who witnessed like the explosion. Like the guy in the car like dropping off the bomb, like the one kid saw it and he identifies like the tattoo, that sort of thing.
Right, yeah. Yeah, making it so that they have at least one piece that's very significant of information is probably a really good way for it to go, because, yeah, they might write off the kid, but if they give them at least one thing that's very concrete, then it's like, oh, okay, well, that's a lead at least, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And honestly, everything that we've been talking about can also be applied to the elderly. Right, like
Yes.
legitimately, like it's the thing, right? You start out as a baby, you end as a baby, okay? Like that's how it works.
Yeah.
Not to be reductive, but it is true. So, yeah, again, like what I was saying before, with like if you give your villain a tie to an elderly parent or somebody in a nursing home maybe that you can go and like discover, talk to, get the information from that might be here or there, or you might get additional information that you can use of like memories that they have with their kid, and it's like, oh shit, well now I know all of this shit that you used to do as a kid, so now I can like tell you that I know this shit, and then they go, oh, you know,
Oh my
and it's
god,
like, oh fuck,
son of a bitch.
right. So yeah, I mean,
You can have. Sorry, go on.
no, I was just gonna say it's just it's the elderly can also work as children, basically.
Yeah. I just thought of this. I've been playing Marvel's Spider-Man 2 recently, and they do this like make your villain have a kid thing with Sandman. They make him have a daughter.
Yeah, he canonically does.
And he was the daughter was like abducted by Kraven's hunters in the story. And that's why Sandman was freaking out.
Makes sense.
And you discover that as you discover his like memory crystals. It's like a thing.
Oh, okay.
Little
Yeah, and no, that's a whole.
I hear that game is not as polished as the first one.
It is very fun.
I'm sure it is. Yeah.
Now that I know how to control Spider-Man, I am positively bullying people through the air and like air comboing them across the arena.
When I figured out how to do that in the first game, I was like, fuck yeah, this is great.
Oh yeah, no. The second that I figured out how to move through the air and figured out how touching the ground was optional.
Yes.
I was like, all right, this game's over.
Just playing Monster Hunter all over again.
Yeah.
Oh no, dude. Like once every 2 minutes I touch the ground. It's bad.
Sandman was always my most feared Spider-Man villain growing up because, of course, if you watch Western TV shows, a very easy way to resolve like a villainous character, you don't want the hero character to shoot the villain character. They fall in quicksand, basically. They're chasing the villain falls in quicksand. The hero doesn't have to kill them. The situation's resolved. And so Sandman to me was like the most terrifying villain as a kid. As an adult, I think he's really cool, though.
Oh, yeah. I think he's got
all I can think is, man, if I want to die, let me just kidnap Sandman's daughter.
Yeah.
This'll work out fine.
It'll work out just fine. Yeah, exactly. Let's see. Okay. In all seriousness, I did play a D&D campaign where one of the characters played a child. Yeah, fair enough. That's I playing as a child is one of the, actually I did too. Oh my goodness, I ran a game where it didn't last very long, but I ran it with my world and my rules and such for vampires and undead and shit, so you could be a vampire and shit. And one of my players was like, "Hey, what if I'm a kid who got turned?" And I went, "Ooh, that's got a lot of potential. Thank you."
Kirsten
Because
Dunst's character from Interview with a Vampire.
yes, exactly. Yes. Such a one of my favorite stories.
Yep. The Brotherhood girl.
Yep. The assassin.
But also like the wizarding prodigy, the sorcery prodigy, perfectly viable, child character.
Exactly.
I think.
Exactly. And it was just one of those things to like have this it was nice to have something a character that was organically curious about the world in a way, because they're a child and they don't know anything. Right, like, and so they get to ask questions, and the character themselves didn't know anything about being a vampire, basically, in the sense of like they were turned unwillingly by their parents because they wanted to give them eternal life. Like, that was just one of those things of just like the parents were like, yeah, no, this is good for you, so you're gonna be a vampire. And it's not something that's condoned by the vampire community and all that kind of stuff. It's that classic rule of don't turn kids. That's fucked up, man.
Yeah.
And so having them be able to go to somebody and say, "Hey, dude, what the fuck is going on still? Like, I'm able to survive. I've learned how to do this, but I don't have like a place in like the world, really. I don't know anything about this like culture and community and everything. What is going on? Who am I?" Right? And there's plenty to explore because of the child aspect of like giving them this depth, right, of your world. How long will your campaign be, Boo?
In terms of how long it takes to play, no idea.
Right.
But in terms of actual individual adventures, it's looking like it's going to be anywhere from 18 to 22-ish.
There you go.
Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah. And each adventure is, I want to say the shortest one I have right now is 27 pages.
There you go. Putting a pinch of Big League Chew between his teeth and cheek, the child looks at you and says, "It'll cost you, and not just Jolt Cola." True.
Tough kids.
I don't think you can dual wield elderly people. Hey, you never. You can try. It's fine.
That's right, Boo. You weren't here for this discussion.
Yeah, we were talking about dual wielding the children.
Nice. Yeah. Now, are you dual wielding children who are wielding weapons?
That was also asked.
Yes.
Don't worry.
Okay. Very good.
Because
good,
the children
good,
are also dual wielding.
Yes. And the
Yeah,
children are also fighters.
Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
So here's what you do. This is what you do. You make a fighter who is a chitine. 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 And they are like a four-armed kind of spider guy from the Underdark, and they're used as slaves by the Drow.
Oh.
So you make a chitine that's a fighter, and you can dual wield broadswords because you have four arms.
Oh.
So you can dual wield two-handed weapons. So that means that if you can dual wield a broadsword, you could totally dual wield childs.
True.
And the children are also holding weapons.
True.
It would be great. That was what I wanted to do when we were gonna do our Underdark campaign for a little while there. I really wanted to do that.
Now we figured that the inevitable conclusion was the child Megazord / Voltron.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah. Love those kinds of things. It's like two people piloting a Jaeger, and then two Jaegers piloting another Jaeger, and then
Exactly.
Yes, basically.
Yeah.
I saw a meme where the villains were realizing that Spider-Man was a kid and Sandman was breaking down. Sure.
That'd be funny.
That's, yeah, fair enough. I mean,
Yeah. It's like, holy shit, he's just a fucking child.
yeah, it would be one of those things of like, oh.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
I remember, not to get too in the weeds about this, but, when Peter's body was taken over by Doc Ock,
Okay.
and he became the superior Spider-Man, because he
I
wanted
remember hearing
to,
that name.
yeah, he wanted to prove that he was better
yes.
than Peter.
Mhm.
And he realized like really quick that Peter has always been holding back because he can like literally just punch through a guy if he wants to. But he doesn't want to because he's a good person.
Yeah.
But it was a
Dude.
very interesting thing for that.
In any company-wide crossover event at Marvel, Spider-Man does 40% of the heavy lifting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
True.
I remember that there's this. Sometimes I'll watch like dubbed little excerpts from comics.
Yeah.
And one of them was a Spider-Man story where Aunt May, I think she got shot. Someone from the Kingpin had somebody shoot Aunt May, or he was trying to kill Peter. Aunt May got hit. Yada yada yada.
Yeah.
And what wound up happening was she was in like intensive care and shit, and Peter went into the prison where Kingpin was, and he's like, Kingpin, I'm going to like. So if Aunt May dies because of you, I'm going to come in here and I am going to shoot webbing down your throat and into your lungs. And
yes, I remember him making this threat.
Yeah, I forget the exact wording. It's metal as fuck.
I bet.
And it's really scary because he basically beats Kingpin to within an inch of death.
Oh yeah,
it's great.
Oh yeah.
And those moments when the happy-go-lucky guy gets fucking pissed, and
serious.
is willing to kill. Yeah, those are always the best moments.
Yeah,
I mean, hell, it's Goku going Super Saiyan,
and even though I don't like it, One Piece with Luffy, like I not that I don't like that aspect of him. I think that's a good aspect for the happy-go-lucky guy that does get serious and all that shit. Like that's good.
Yu Yu Hakusho must do it, I'm sure.
Yeah, they do it too. One of my favorite ones is another comic. If you've ever read it's a Superman story, and it is What's So Funny About Truth, Justice, and the American Way, or the animated version called Superman versus the Elite. Absolutely fantastic.
I know
very famous story.
Okay.
Yes, I love that story.
Okay.
And what's cool about that story is it's just normal issues of Superman. It's not like a limited series. It's not like a separate graphic novel or anything like. It's normal issues of Superman. It's a Superman story.
It was just in with the running, basically. Gotcha.
Yeah,
that's cool.
It's just a fantastic story.
Yeah, there's a lot of that stuff that I do want to go through because I want to get back to Daredevil actually, like because Daredevil is like a great character, even though they've ruined him now. But
rip.
Yes, rip indeed. The Netflix show was so good. But Daredevil is one of those characters that is that trying to be good, but having to go against a lot of those kind of established like morals and such, going outside of the law, even though he's a lawyer and everything. Having himself be the visage of a devil, even though he's Catholic, like there's so much.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, it's actually like being Catholic is crucial to his character, and it's actually very well done. Usually,
that's hilarious.
Yeah, no, it's
I didn't
good.
Actually know that about him.
Yeah, no, it's actually very interesting. Daredevil's a great character. It's annoying that people don't seem to understand that. I don't know anymore.
Watching the Netflix show gave me a new appreciation for his character.
Exactly.
I knew all I knew about him was that his thing was hearing well.
Right.
His radar vision, which we
yeah.
don't really do anymore.
Yeah. But
which is yeah. Anyway, But finding out a whole lot about him in the show gave me a whole new appreciation for him.
Yeah, exactly. It's fantastic as a character,
Which
honestly.
I stepped away for a second, but when I came back, I thought I heard you praising the show.
Yes,
Alejo.
yes.
Okay.
I love that show. It's great. There are some aspects for sure that are like season 2, the hand thing is like really not great.
Yeah.
But everything else is pretty fucking like the whole. Even though it's not just because I love the Punisher, but the Punisher scenes in that show are so good. Anyway,
The Punisher started out good, but once we started getting into like, wait.
I'm still fine with it. That stuff is just memeable, really.
Yeah.
It's not bad for the character. It's just very memeable.
It does make sense in context.
Yes.
Yeah.
They do him very well in that show.
The other thing that winds up happening with that type of thing is that scene in Breaking Bad where fucking
oh no,
I think it's Hank gets shot or something.
Yep.
And Walter falls to the ground. He's like, "Oh,
yes."
And it's hilarious because that's a very serious moment in the show.
It's so good,
and it's like super fucking important, but it's
hilarious when you see the meme.
I do enjoy when you can make those very serious kind of things into memes. They're very funny.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Attach the reaction to something completely unrelated.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So, let's move on to the other video that Dave has gotten for us. This is more of a meme video, it looks like.
Yeah. Now, I am not a big fan of read post from Reddit channels.
Me either.
Especially since there are so many that fall back on the RPG horror stories ones.
Mm-hmm.
But this is kind of relevant to our topic.
Yeah.
But I will bring up the reason why I chose this topic too is that I'm actually in my own game group. I'm kind of declaring a personal moratorium on child characters for a while because my players have made me aware that I've been very bad to my child characters.
As in, like, you've been, like, killing them, infecting them with diseases and shit, or...
Oh, column A and column B. So we finished up our Age of Rebellion game, and, like, the whole plot of the Age of Rebellion game, and because I mentioned before, using kids, great way to raise stakes very high, but keep the scale very low. Mm-hmm. So... like there's this one Imperial officer who cooks up this really decently effective but very terrible plan of like basically using children as a delivery mechanism for a biological weapon.
Oh hell yeah!
Nice.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, they institute the Empire Youth Program.
Mm-hmm.
You can all probably guess what that's named after.
Yeah. Very good.
Including many orphans from the Clone Wars and things like that. And they do kind of typical scouty stuff. Right. But what the program actually does is it's used to identify kids who are susceptible to hypnotic programming. And the ones who are susceptible, Aiden, are you familiar with the buckyball at all?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. It's a very large sphere-shaped molecule in which you can encase another molecule.
A buckyball is in chemistry. It is C60, which is a molecule of 60 carbon atoms arranged in basically imagine a lattice work, kind of like a soccer ball.
Okay.
Or D20.
Yeah, or D20.
Which came first?
But they do self-form under certain circumstances.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But anyway,
producing them is just a matter of like creating the circumstances under which they produce themselves.
Makes sense.
Yeah, but basically, this particular Imperial officer, takes the kids who are susceptible conditions them to respond to certain like rebel behaviors, like talking in code and things like that.
Oh, okay.
and they infect these kids with the buckyball enclosed pathogen. And then when the kids are exposed, like they'll position the kids if they think rebel activity has happening. They'll position the kids to develop elicit sympathy from the rebels, so the rebels will take in the kids.
Makes sense.
And then when the kids receive their operant conditioning trigger, they basically cut themselves open, release the pathogen into the air. With the trigger mechanism being bleed for the Empire. Will you bleed for the Empire? And
would you kindly?
Would you kindly indeed?
Yes. The players responded by stealing a very large sample of this pathogen and gassing an entire Star Destroyer. So good on them.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Nice.
That's awesome.
All right.
Both discredited the program and exposed the program at the same time.
Hell yeah.
So
Nice. We love it.
That's it. That's how they finished that campaign. But I'm
many birds with one stone.
Yeah. One gassy flesh rotting stone.
Yeah.
But yes, I am declaring like a personal moratorium on kid characters in my games for a little while.
just
since we're moving into Warhammer.
Yeah.
God, yeah. So actually, now that you're mentioning something like that, I have another one. I didn't do this. So when I was younger and before I got into D&D, I was reading a lot of Dragonlance.
Oh yeah.
And I don't, for the life of me, I could not tell you which book this was from, sadly. It's from a trilogy, I know that. And, okay. So, basically, jeez, how do I even start this? It's very complicated. Okay, so basically what happens is there is this woman who's going around and she is like mysteriously powerful and like ridiculously sexy and like seductive.
Sure.
And she's magical and she's doing shit. And basically she goes around and seduces people, and if she kisses you, you become this kind of like zombified, not like rotting zombie, but commandable person who is effectively immortal.
A thrall of some sort.
Yes, there we go. Yeah, a thrall. That's a perfect way to say it. You become a thrall that she and another god can command.
Okay.
Isn't this like the plot of one of the Persona games?
Not that I'm aware of. I don't know.
It's Persona Dungeons, I think.
Oh, I don't fucking. I have no idea.
Persona 5, I believe the Royal, I think.
I don't know.
Persona 5 Royale, the fighting game?
No.
Or
there's a Persona 5 like spin-off that takes. Hold on, I'll find it.
Okay. Well, anyway, so the whole deal is the fact that the gods, the entire pantheon of gods, once agreed that they could never create immortal soldiers, so that way there would never be like some sort of an arms race between them, because if one person makes an immortal soldier, the others are going to do it, and blah blah blah, and then the world gets fucking destroyed. So the gods are like, hey, this is some bullshit. These people are immortal. You can't be doing this. And they're like, well, actually, they're not.
They're dead.
They are technically dead. But importantly, they're not immortal, and they can be destroyed. But what they say, if I remember correctly, they're like, the price to destroy them is something you will not want to pay. And over the course of the story, people are like, the main character's going around trying to figure out what's going on, and it follows the sexy lady doing shit, and she's trying to figure out who she is because she doesn't know who she is, and come to find out that the only way to destroy these quote immortal soldiers is to I forget exactly how they say it, but basically subject them to innocence. And the only way to kill them is to have a child touch them. And both the thrall and the child burst into flames and die.
Whoa!
It's really bad.
Interesting. Okay.
So, I forget the name of the story, but it is about the woman, her name is Mina, Mina, and the other god that she is working with is the god of decay, or the Lord of the Bronze Tower, called Chemosh.
Ooh, I like that name.
And I'm so sorry that I can't remember the name, because it's a good trilogy.
Yeah. I've only heard
she gets kicked around like a theological hockey puck in that series.
She does.
Okay.
Because of some shit. I don't know if any of you ever intend to read it, but I could explain it if you like.
I might read it someday. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I read that trilogy, actually. I remember her. She actually starts as a kid.
Yes, she starts out as a kid and then grows up into like this super hot woman who's like really powerful and shit. And then it comes like over the course of that trilogy, you learn who she is and why she has the powers that she does and why she's so important and why she can do the things that she does. And it comes to like, okay, whose side are you going to be on? Because if you're on this side, you tip the balance to them. And then if you're on the other, everything is even. Without her. So
the Amber trilogy, Amber and Ashes, Amber and Iron, Amber.
That's it.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
There you go.
Because remember, she had amber eyes, which was really unusual.
Okay.
Yeah, I forget exactly how she was, what her exact origin is, but I do remember what she is.
Right.
When Takhisis displaced the entirety of Ansalon to another sort of dimension and was the only dark god, the dimension, because Dragonlance is very balanced, fabricated a god of light in child form, which was delivered to... what's her name? Moon something.
Gold Moon?
Gold Moon, yeah.
Gold Moon and Paladine, yeah? Or was that something else?
Paladine isn't around because Takhisis had figured out how to separate Ansalon from the rest of the Pantheon.
Well, I thought that was the War of the Lance. I thought that was like the preamble to the War of the Lance, or the War of Souls, I'm sorry, because she teleported the whole world away and then ghosts couldn't go anywhere.
Yeah, that was War of Souls there. War of Lancers were more like the gods had chosen to displace themselves.
Yes, they fucked off and they just stopped answering prayers.
Yeah.
Because of the fantasy pope was an asshole.
Fantasy pope.
Like that's actually what happened, because it's like the fantasy pope is like, yo, I'm a god.
Priest. Yeah.
That's it, the king priest, yes.
Yeah.
The king priest, he's like, yo, I can do miracles and shit. I'm a god. And so they're like, the gods are all like, nope, fuck you. And they literally nuke his city and then they leave. It's great.
Wow. Okay.
They nuke his entire city and then they leave for like 1,000 years or however long. And everybody's like, yo, the gods don't exist. We're all alone. Clerical magic doesn't exist. And then Gold Moon shows up and she can do clerical magic. So it's a big deal.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, they drop a comet on his capital. Not a meteor, a whole
comet. Jesus.
Yeah. It's great.
That's awesome. Huh. Well, there you go.
And then you get Lord Soth, who is like the progenitor of the whole, like, the Death Knight thing, where it's like, oh, he got seduced by elven women and he went back and killed his wife. Jesus. And then that's what turned him into a Death Knight. Like, he's the first one.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a lot of really cool shit in Dragonlance.
You're telling
if you've
me
never
that
read
the
those
first
books.
Death Knight was a simp. Okay.
Okay. The first
you got to put your brain like back in its
middle
school
no,
state
I
really
know.
love Dragonlance.
Yeah.
Yes.
I get you.
So basically what happens is Lord Soth is the king of a castle or whatever.
Sure.
And he is married. He has a wife.
Yeah, of course.
And he goes off on an adventure. And then there are three elven women.
Not just any adventure. He gets a premonition of the cataclysm that's
right. Yes, that's it.
And then Paladine tells him, "Tell you what, if you can stop the king priest, if you can convince him to back down, we'll spare Kryn."
Mm-hmm.
And it was the elven temptresses who delayed him.
Yes.
It wasn't just rumors of his wife's infidelity.
So he's like, no, fuck this super holy quest that would save the whole world. I'm gonna go and confront my wife, and he didn't stop the meteor, and so the gods cursed him to be the first Death Knight, and those 3 elven temptresses became banshees who accompany him forever, like sing the tale of his downfall forevermore.
Cool. Oh, I like that. Yeah,
it's really cool.
I do like that.
Yeah, Soth used to be shared between Dragonlance and Ravenloft.
That makes sense.
And in Ravenloft, there's like a surrogate Lord Soth because Wizards of the Coast can't use him.
Right.
There's like this surrogate Dark Paladin in that 5th edition quest who's kind of like a off-brand Soth.
Okay.
And it's the same story, if I remember correctly. Different name, same story.
Okay. Okay. Now, correct me. I don't know. Can they use Dragonlance now? Is that something that they own now, or is it?
I don't know if it's something that they own, but I do know that it is like that's one of the official settings that you can play in now is Kryn.
Yeah, they did do an official Dragonlance book.
Yeah.
It's tough because technically I think Tracy and Hickman Weiss and Tracy Hickman and Margaret Weiss, they own Dragonlance.
Okay.
But Wizards of the Coast gets first right of refusal or something like that. So if they want to produce a Dragonlance thing, Wizards of the Coast has to be given like the first chance to
make.
They have veto rights.
Yeah. Well, not quite veto, but like they can delay it by like saying, okay, well, we'll look this over. We're going to review it, and they'll just sit on it for a long time. And that sort of thing.
Great.
Yeah.
I have found the game I was thinking of. It was Persona 5 Tactica.
Oh, Tactica.
Although I forget why it was relevant.
Kissing, seductress.
The whole like zombies, immortal zombie soldiers.
Seductress.
Oh yes, a boss very early on in the game, like kisses people, and then that's how she makes them thralls. And she takes over like everyone in a town, and you're fighting through her waves of thralls.
Gotcha. Interesting.
Nice.
Now, before we start the next video, let me run to get a quick break.
Yeah. Take
to refresh my drink.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I will be right back.
We'll get to the thing after.
Yep. Sorry to go through the whole
it's
rabbit
cool.
hole of Dragonlance, but man, that just brought back a ton of memories.
Yeah, man. No, it's totally fun. We're on the show, man. You're good to go on tangents. Absolutely.
Man, I miss those books.
Yeah, it's one of those things that I want to read at some point. I just, gotta have the time and all that kind of stuff.
I had a whole ton of them when I was a young teen, and then when we moved, I didn't have the space for them all, so I wound up needing to sell them and just make some of the money back.
That
so
sucks.
I just sold my collection. But, I mean, hey, they went to somebody.
That's true. Exactly.
I would much rather them all go to someone rather than just them be lost to the ether.
Yeah, for sure. I want to make a little like library space in my house just to have for like just sitting down and reading at some point, just because I have all these books that I still haven't read, and I just want to get some more books that I do want to read. I got to get rid of a bunch of these books because some of them I'm like, I don't really.
Some of them are pretty cringe.
Yeah, actually, yeah, a little bit. I mean, in the sense of like, as a kid, I really liked Dean Koontz, the writer. He was a thriller horror writer. And I read quite a few of his things. He has a very interesting adaptation of like the Frankenstein story that goes across a few books. That's like the Frankenstein's monster, finds this duo of two cops who they help him with like trying to find the evidence and investigation of Frankenstein, who's creating new types of monsters that have this different. Yeah, it's a really interesting series, and it's like one of the better like books that I've read from him. I've read like Mr. Murder and like Your Heart Belongs to Me, and they all have these very interesting things that go on with them. But the most recent one that I was listening to, because I don't have the book, but I have some of the future books in it. It's called Odd Thomas, and I hate that book. Like I
think I remember you talking about that.
I put it in the Discord in the book chat, but like I actually actively hate Thomas. I'm sorry, Odd. His name is actually Odd, and I just don't like the character. I really don't like how he speaks. I don't like any of his thoughts. I don't know. It's just the character does
I do not like his aura.
He is the protagonist, and he tells the story, and I hate it. So
Okay, then.
So I do not want that series if that character is that way. It's like the first one that I've read of his work that I do not
does
like.
not pass the vibe check.
He does not. He does not
Indeed.
at all. So I
I
gotta get rid of those.
You know what's funny? Fucking I remember. I don't think I remember that from you.
Okay.
I remember that from my mom.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she loved those.
Really? Okay. Fair enough.
But then
It's
again,
just-
she loves Twilight, so you know.
Well, you know.
There's that.
Yeah.
It's
It's one of those things where, like, if anybody likes those books, that's fine. I really hate that character. I just do not like any of what he's got to say at all.
Yeah.
But anyway.
I never really got why my mom likes Twilight. My dad also likes it because they have a very successful marriage, and that fucking romance is not fucking romance at all.
Not. It's really
It's really bad.
It's very bad.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think I remember.
Also, I hate that fucking Peep the frog there. I hate it.
the Pepe.
Dude.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I like calling him Peep.
Fair enough. There's Peepo. Where I wish it was Peepo, but it's not. Anyway, Dave, are you back?
Yeah, I'm back.
Welcome back.
Okay.
Okay, well, let's, I don't know if we'll go through the whole thing of this, because it is just, you know, reading Reddit, basically, and that's kind of a thing. But yeah, we'll see if there's something here to, like, at least comment on.
Yeah, something that might bring about a talk.
Exactly.
I had to...
right, sorry. This is what horrifying things did a toxic DM do to NPC children? This is brought to us by Critical Kunik. There you go.
Like, there's something about going in on. Oh no, never mind.
Okay.
I'm going to make a whole diatribe. Never mind.
Okay. Fair enough.
So much of this story. Like, you don't even know the half of it. Like, 10% of this whole story. Like, oh my god, so much! Anyhow, let's roll for initiative and let's just get into it.
Okay.
Did you know
good training.
there is a DM version of It's What My Character Would Do?
Yes.
If you have a DM that excuses crossing boundaries with It Is What My World Is Like, run before you have a horror story. I, sadly, did not know of that red flag and stayed too long. The only cast of characters you need to worry about is myself and the DM. But the table is 4 women and 1 man, and the man was the DM and host. We're all 30 to 45.
It's already I'm seeing in my mind everything, and I'm going, oh no.
Yeah.
And
he's 45? What the fuck?
He is the eldest of us all. 18 months ago, we started a campaign in a homebrew world. We started with a session 0, made a list of our boundaries and how sensitive they are. The relevant ones are no graphic violence.
So the relevant ones that were crossed are
no violence towards children, no torture of children, and the death of children happens off screen. And finally, no uncomfortable scenes. Everything was going well, more or less for a year. There were some minor violations, like hinting that some slaves were kept in unpleasant situations.
Sure.
Another player said that was rather close to the line of graphic violence, as a slave could not really withhold consent. We rescued 8 children who were hurt, nails ripped off, fingers cut off, scarred, but it did happen off screen.
Yike.
The DM apologized, but said, "This is how my world works. I can't help it."
Yeah,
But he did say he'd be more mindful in the future. Then, about 6 months ago, things started going wrong. The first major violation was to another player. Her backstory was she grew up in a loving home, had a sibling, was apprenticed to a kindly wizard when she was 11. He changed the backstory so now her parents were demon worshippers, and when she was 7 or so, she was sent to be hurt by a demon, described in detail as a dominatrix, and graphic violence was hinted at.
What the fuck?
Again, he said,
Yeah, I feel like this is, your standard sort of magical realm
Yeah.
sort of an engagement.
Right.
Yeah, Jesus fuck.
Yeah.
It's this is
It is. Yeah.
it's one of those things of the DM is starting to slip a lot of personal things into the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The DM's barely disguised fetish.
Exactly, which is never great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. This is a world where I imagine each session starting with the Pornhub sound.
No. Exactly. It's just it's especially bad when they say, "Oh, well, we also put forth the boundaries." It's like, I'm sorry.
Well, I think for me, the worst part, the boundaries, obviously. That's session 0 thing, and that's all fine.
Yeah.
But what's even more fucked up to me is the fact that he took a established backstory of a happy childhood and then just said, fuck that. I'm going to make it really traumatic and disgusting.
Yes.
Yeah, and forcibly changed it.
Yeah, that's disgusting.
Like, you're absolutely correct. That's why
I draw a specific issue with it's how my world works.
Yeah.
I can't help it.
Yeah, that exactly. It's like, no.
Yeah, especially when you've already ostensibly allowed that backstory to occur.
Yes.
Because it's a character backstory. You had to sign off on it.
Yes. Well, especially since this is after a year, and then a few more months go by, and then it's like, well, guess what? No. And it's like, oh, okay, what changed? What has happened now?
So I don't know if any of you guys know, but in Call of Cthulhu, there are... it's very similar to Delta Green in this way, where you have, like, most important person, most valuable item, things like that, and they are how you can regain sanity or, do certain things in the game. And you select these things at character creation. Like, oh, maybe the most important person to you in your life is, like, I don't know, your best friend. Who knows? Or maybe your favorite item is like a lucky spoon. Whenever you ate cereal... you always got the prize exactly that you wanted when you had this spoon.
Hell yeah.
And so your favorite item, your most treasured item is this lucky spoon.
Absolutely.
If you go insane, I have the ability to alter your most treasured item to something related to that moment when you go insane. You cannot change anything that is, like, fully, like, established history or anything like that, unless there's, like, some kind of a memory loss or whatever. But the most important thing is that it requires both you to go insane and the player can veto the change if they want.
Yes, exactly.
So it's like, you went insane, I'm gonna change your spoon. Please don't change my spoon. You got it. I'll change something else, or you're just going to get some other form of madness.
Exactly.
That is good because it does give final control to the player when it comes to their character.
Yes. Exactly, because it would be supremely fucked if I could just do that.
Yes, exactly. It would be incredibly upsetting.
Yes.
I don't know, man. It's that boundaries thing, right? Just easily anything in every game usually has something in it now that's like, all right, well, establish the boundaries, right? Because it doesn't necessarily need to be said, but it isn't unwelcome, right? Just so that it's there for those who are new to the hobby, right? So that they can learn what it really is before learn that social contract part of the games before they've had the experience, really. You would hope.
Yeah, you would certainly hope.
God, okay.
Yeah.
RPG horror story.
Yeah, I just
Now there's actually going to be a bit of information presented that kind of raised an eyebrow about the plausibility of this, because RPG horror stories, it is a big karma farm.
yes, that is also true.
And there's a fact coming up which kind of raised an eyebrow with me. If you
Okay.
want to
Okay.
we'll get to it eventually, though.
All right,
Raise the eyebrow even higher than it already
Oh
is.
yeah.
fair.
It's what my world is like. He felt her story did not fit. He then said, okay, well, we will retcon that. You know what happened, but I did not describe it. Happy? That player said that was better, but I was still uncomfortable. Again, after session, I reminded him of the boundaries, and I got, oh right, sorry. A couple of sessions later, he crossed another line, and this was not okay. This time, a child of 10 and their mother were being held by a bunch of slavers/bandits. We failed the stealth check with an 18, and the child started screaming for us to save him, only for the man holding him with a hand crossbow to the head to pull the trigger. The DM described the child's mouth open in the start of a scream, with their eyes bulging out before the bolt shot through, splattering us at 40 feet away with gore. The other bandit then threatened the crying mother with harm while threatening her with unpleasant acts to the dead. At the table, I said, what the hell?
Oh, that's implications that I did not want.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's fucking disgusting.
Come on, man.
What the fuck is with this DM?
Jesus.
If they're real.
If it's real, exactly.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
Yeah.
Heck, this is not okay. Well, this is what my world is like. You have got to get used to it. He shrugged. At the break, I spoke to the others, and they were uncomfortable with this as well.
It is at this point that you are packing up your stuff and you are inviting everyone minus the DM to a game that takes place at the exact same time.
Yeah.
In a different place.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like it's just not okay. It just isn't.
Also, that campaign that takes place in the same time at a different place also takes place in the same world, but where all this other fucked up shit hasn't happened.
Yeah, we
yet.
can go back to when it was before all this shit started happening, and we'll just go from there.
Yeah.
You know? It's like, oh yeah, everybody remembers at that point.
Yeah,
That
it's
was a
alternate
nice point.
dimension where it was the game that we wanted to play.
Yes, exactly. The game that we agreed to, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But didn't want to speak up because we are all friends. I said I was going to speak to him, but they said they didn't want to get involved, so I told him that he crossed the boundaries we all agreed on. And his response was no, he has had no uncomfortable scenes, coincidentally the two he was adamant about being on the list. I did not say it was a concern from all of us, just myself, as I did not want to put words in the mouths of others. I showed him the list on the file share that we all agreed on. He said, I am so sorry. How are you going to handle challenges in the future? I should have left at that moment. Oh, I really wish I did. But I wanted to play with my friends. Things got better for a couple of months. But at our last session, I walked out as he said it again. That is how his world is, and he can't control it if things are challenging. This time, some kids we helped were kidnapped, and we had to complete certain tasks to rescue them. That part was okay. While we took these tasks, they were in the custody of that person from the other player's backstory, and they delighted in describing how they were being mistreated and abused. I said, no, this is crossing our boundaries, and just plain, no, stop this. Several times, but he kept saying, trust me, this is how the world really is. It will be good.
Trust me, bro. Trust me. It's gonna be great.
Trust me.
Don't worry about it.
Trust me.
This guy...
Just please don't look underneath the table.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, no,
it'll
it'll get better, I promise.
Right. What are you saying, Dave?
Jesus
Sorry.
Christ.
I get the feeling this DM might be a bit of a Berserk fan. Berserk is an exceptional manga.
It is.
Yeah.
But it is not nice to kids.
It's
it's not nice to anybody.
No.
Exactly. But like I don't know, you signed up for that, right? Like that's the thing. If I'm reading that and I continue reading that, I want to.
Oh yeah.
Right?
season exercise in the same mentality as Warhammer 40k.
Yes.
Of everything is always dark and horrible and is always getting worse.
Exactly.
It kind of makes the rosy parts of 40k, those occasional moments, a little more special, though.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
The juxtaposition is very good.
Yeah.
When it happens.
It just does kind of suck when you do have those moments like, oh, that's a nice moment. Too bad this basically means fuck all. You know,
well, it means
like,
something
too
for
bad
those people, I guess, right? Like, you can at least take like each of the paradise worlds. You could at least go, well, somebody's at least okay.
Until the Tyranids find it.
Don't worry
or
about
the
that. We'll
Drukhari
think
find
about
it,
that later. It's fine.
Or the Orcs find it.
That's right.
Or the Mechanicus find any sort of valuable shit on it.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
I even stepped away from the table, but I could hear him say, "Oh, she's going to be a challenge again. But this is how the world is. What else does she expect?" Before continuing to describe a difficult scene involving a 10-year-old boy. I had carpooled with one of the other players, so I was more or less stuck. I ordered a cab, but it was going to be more than half an hour before it arrived, and outside it was very cold, like -4.
This is actually kind of one of the things that's kind of raised an eyebrow with me. I started looking up places where it can actually where it's habitable, but can also reach
is
-40.
very cold.
Yeah, wait, 40C.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
That's
Wait.
like Arctic Circle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's like the coldest city in the world with like the lowest lows is Kirkuk, Russia, and its lowest low is like -60.
Okay.
But that's like a rare occurrence. It's more routine to be like -20.
Sure.
I could see parts of Sweden and Canada and Alaska being
I was
like
gonna
this.
say, yeah,
but
Alaska. Yeah.
There is also the chance. No, they mentioned they're like at least 30. So
Yeah,
I
30
was
to
thinking
45.
like,
Yeah.
oh, maybe they are a kid and prone to hyperbole.
Right, but
And
Yeah.
true, they may still be prone to hyperbole
Yeah.
at 30 to 45.
exactly. But
it
but-
could be, yeah.
it's still
Yeah.
I don't know. It very strange.
Yeah.
Why did you oh, God. Okay.
It was the longest wait. He
All right,
finally
let's
said,
finish this.
"Since she is so uncomfortable, we will change things so that none of the bad stuff happened. And now the
forget how
kids
this
are being
ends.
kept in a safe place. Happy now?" I was not happy, of course. Changing things does not work in real life. When the cab arrived, I packed my stuff up and said, "Sorry, I must go."
My people
No
need me.
shouting, no confrontation. I just wanted to leave safely and quickly.
had to
As I
return to his
left,
home
he
planet.
tried to block me from leaving his house and grab me, but I didn't even stop to put
What?
on my shoes as I headed out to make sure I escaped. The last thing he
In -40C.
Wait, what? Sorry? At least he tried as I left, he tried to block me from leaving his house and grab me. Why? What?
Well, he doesn't want his player to leave. What?
Yeah, right? Like
That's
I
totally not
No
fucked up.
player.
I
You
don't
must participate in my adventure.
Yeah, I don't know
This
about
is
that.
getting filed under things that happened.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know.
The last thing you say to someone as they're leaving could,
Yeah.
I guess, be "my world is a grim place." It is something you need to learn. But the fact that he goes to grab and the fact that it is just dismissed.
Yeah.
The fact that there's the inconsistency of like, yeah, sure, they could run outside and -40C weather to the cab that is there.
Yeah.
I guess maybe. I don't think that happened.
No, exactly. I'm
Yeah, no, I don't buy this at all
highly
anymore.
questioning the
Yeah.
story.
No, this didn't happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Good job, Redditor. You got your 200 upvotes. Very good.
Yeah, like Jesus Christ.
You know what I want to do sometime?
Mm.
I want to like rewrite Darkest Dungeon, the chick tract,
No,
but like replace the Satanists with like a more modern, like plausible villain, and post that to RPG Horror Stories and just to see who falls for it.
Oh yeah.
That'd be hilarious.
Yeah, that would be really good.
really good.
Yeah.
he said was, "My world is a grim place.
My
It
world."
is something you need to
Grim and
learn."
dark.
I did send a message to each of the other players to apologize for leaving, assuring them I still consider them friends, but that I was not returning. I said, "This is not the right table for me."
Right.
And one player apologized for not saying anything.
Sure.
She was scared she'd be asked to leave if she spoke up. Another player said I owe the person in charge an apology because I disrespected
to leave
them
at this
in
table
their
is
own
kind of a good
house.
thing.
And really, it wasn't.
Somebody said that they disrespected them in their own. I don't believe you even harder now.
Yeah, what
Literally every single person in your group that you talked to said that they were uncomfortable and everything. That's
and
is
also
awful.
read, and it really wasn't that bad because they worked hard on the world.
exactly. That's not the same attitude that they gave in the group that you were talking about talking with. So this is not a person that I believe.
No.
Yeah.
Like, good job again. Your 200 fucking upvotes. Very good, I guess.
that bad because they worked hard on the world. She changed her mind after we chatted a bit. She did think I made things more difficult by reminding him what the boundaries are, and said maybe I should have chosen a gentler approach than just walking out. The third called me a mewling quim. Yes, she got that line from Loki in the Avengers.
Sure.
And criticized me for making the person in charge feel bad.
Sure she
I
did.
realized my mistake when I looked back at the gradual increase of his boundary pushing, and recognized the gaslighting. I did not regret the loss of the friendship with the one who thought she'd be funny calling me a troublesome person, and I don't know if she knows what that means. But I might still be friends with the other two, if I didn't try to please the person in charge and play along for so long. He told me repeatedly that this was his world, and
I just
Yeah, it's just nah.
is there
If you want to give up,
I
on
was
the
gonna
video,
say I
I'm
don't
cool
think there's
with that.
anything else
It's,
that's
you know.
valuable to this.
At this point, I'm just
I-
listening to it
yeah.
as fiction.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. I'm just letting
Yeah.
words happen
So,
at this point.
We'll just
I'm paying more attention to the flames.
Yeah,
than
honestly,
the-
yeah.
It's so warm.
It's a
and-
nice sound
Yeah,
effect.
right.
I do like
It's also
it.
funny that like he's got the whole fucking video here, and he's only using the top.
Yeah,
like,
it's
what,
weird.
I know, right?
20%.
Exactly.
God.
Like I get
Hate
it.
that.
I assume that it's going paragraph by paragraph for the posts, so some of them they do like fit the whole screen probably. But at the same
Yeah.
time, man, just do a fucking center, you know? Just
Yeah.
make it centered.
And also, at least like Crit Crab or Den of the Drake, they'll pause like the story to like kind of give commentary
give
from time
anything.
to time and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
it's true.
Um,
It's just this is just literally I just read the entirety of the thing, and I assume if I go to the end,
there's a bit of chat at the end.
I was gonna say, you know what, that might be something. Oh, sponsored.
ad for product.
Sponsored
yeah,
by
okay.
Wonder Home. Okay, sure.
Okay.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
dialogue, and it's
I
really
just want to see
cute
what
while
he's got
doing
to
it.
say.
So if you have a story
Your
that you
voice
really, wanna
really does
tell,
not fit that
and
fucking
you can't figure out
advertising
how
image.
to work it into your game, perhaps write a book instead of trying to force it onto your players. All right, that's it for today's video.
That's also kind of worthless. Very good. Okay.
It's like the end of a He-Man episode.
I feel really bad giving this review. However, like it is 10 minutes and 10 seconds. Like this is very clearly an algorithm cash grab.
Oh,
So,
for
like,
sure. That's
yeah,
most of
fucking
those.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, this kind of is just like having an ad associated with someone giving me a Reddit link. But
Yes.
instead of giving me a Reddit link where I can read the post so that I can like intake the information more as a visual person, I'm just being given the ad attached to the post in a worse form.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like what you were saying before, Dave, like at least some of these people do actually give commentary, which is more valuable, I would say. Like I don't any kind of criticism, any kind of I guess reminder of like, well, this is something that you shouldn't be doing. You know, like anything, like a joke, you know?
Yeah.
Like anything to enhance the experience rather than just say, "Hey guys, I went on Reddit today."
I found this post.
And that's
I'm gonna
it.
read it to you now.
And
I
then
went on the
like
internet today and I found this.
yeah, and I'm like, I'm over here going.
Beneath that post with 43 upvotes.
Yeah, exactly. I went on to Hot in Reddit and went, there it is. That one's on the top, or at least 3 down, so nobody thinks that I'm just skimming from the top. You know? And it's like, I get it. I've listened to some Reddit stories as well, or some like green texts, you know, because
if they feel like really putting in a particular effort for their video, they go on trending instead.
Yeah, exactly. Ooh, living a little dangerously.
Let's sort by new.
Ooh. Feeling daring, are we?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like I listened to like the scary stories, like green text things, because those ones are at least like, yeah, sure, they're probably fake, but it's at least interesting in the sense of like, this is some paranormal fiction, you know?
Yeah, this is a spooky story. It's a ghost story.
It's a ghost story, exactly.
And
it doesn't have to be real.
No.
And it's not directed towards your hobby, too.
Exactly. Also.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know, it's I understand these channels, but usually I expect a little bit more from them.
This one's super lazy.
It is. And like you were saying, Dave, it's at the very end, it's like the He-Man, it's fucking Sonic the Hedgehog saying, "Oh, don't let people say bad things to you, it's no good," you know.
Yeah,
shit like that.
Don't let people force you into doing things that make you feel uncomfortable.
Exactly.
It's their problem.
Exactly. And it's just like, oh, thanks, man. Yeah.
God damn it! Now you're reminding me of that fucking channel that has Skeletor, He-Man, and the other fucking He-Man people talking about Destiny. I forget what it's called. It's really funny.
Gotcha. Yeah. But yeah, I also had hoped that turned into a creepypasta. Yeah, that would have been better. It just goes into just some crazy shit for no, and then you're just like, oh, you were just having fun at the end. Good. Okay. You know, like it would have been.
It's like,
something.
oh, he tried to stop me from leaving, but then I fucking walked out, and then the next day I woke up, his car was outside my house.
Right? Yeah, something like that, or just like, oh, and when I exited the building, I turned around and it wasn't there anymore, and it's like, whoa, you know, like
it was
something.
a child behind me. And he died.
You know, get some fucking Ben Drown shit going on or something.
Yeah.
You know, like anything, because that's just. Oh, I wrote a horrible story. Okay, yes. Yep. Good. And not to say, I mean, if it is a real thing, then sure. That's unfortunate, and I feel bad for that happening to you and your group. Like, if it is real, but I'm sorry, I just don't believe you. Yeah, it's just, at the end of the day, I just don't believe you. I'm sorry. Anyway. That's the videos. That's the topic, really. Is there anything else that we want to talk about with the young and the old, the NPCs?
We haven't talked that much about the old, really.
Well, like I was saying, they kind of fit the same characteristics of the young.
I think the really old do, not just the old.
Yeah, that is true. With older characters, with older NPCs, you have things for like teaching of wisdom, you know, things that they've learned in their life that could be passed on to characters. You have in Vampire, actually, that we're doing right now, there is a character that has recently been met who is very old. One of the older vampires that has been encountered, who is there and might be a guide to Nicholas. Potentially, it depends on how they interact and everything, but he's a source of that kind of information from years and years of living. And
really old people have the best reason to be quest givers.
True.
Which is that they can't, go on the adventure themselves. They've got this information that they might be able to make some gold from, make their life a little more comfortable in their later years, but they could pass it on to some adventurers who are hungry and looking for magic items. In fact, I recently started playing Dungeon and Crawl Classics with my game group.
Ooh.
4 people have already died. It's
Of
amazing.
course, yeah.
Like,
Makes sense.
But the introductory adventure is delivered to the players.
Only 4.
by
You
a-
gotta pump those numbers up.
Yeah, true.
We're only halfway through the first scenario.
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
okay.
So you're gonna
Okay.
lose at least 8 more. Yeah,
Yeah,
for
you,
sure.
you still got time.
Yeah.
We're gonna let some of them roll replacements because
Yeah.
they're starting to run out of it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Faces come and go.
Yeah.
True. But yeah,
talking about the older characters, they kind of fall into one or more different, like, typical niches.
Yeah.
And it can be... I feel like it can be a little bit tricky to get them into other spaces, you know, because it's usually like, oh, the older character is the mentor, or he's the goofy mentor, like Master Roshi.
yeah.
You know, he's the wise old guy. He's the crotchety old man, or the crazy cat lady, or you know what I mean? When you think of like older characters, they tend to fall into those niches, and because of their older age and what the things they know, the things they've done, and where they are now, they kind of tend to fall into those roles, and it can be hard to think of other roles for them that make sense, you know?
But yeah, because like you as a storyteller are forced into the position of throwing in a character who is by definition more experienced.
Yeah.
And it's like, cool, well, why don't they just solve the problem? So
Yeah.
you need to put that character in a role where you dismiss them.
Yes.
And you do
Yes.
that by making them like unable somehow.
It could.
And like that is why a lot of those you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
I like the idea. I guess a spin that you could do is a disenfranchised former adventurer of some sort, or former whatever, that has to be then convinced to help with whatever is going on, so that you have that powerful ally with that experience, but you have to work for it, you know? It's something that you really have to build that trust and really get them to care again about the world or whatever it might be, you know? It's another way that you can
Crime
kinda go with
Lords.
it.
I have something that I do in every one of my campaigns, and when I do my campaign, it will be like part of it. The NPC in the initial tavern is like a retired, like high level rogue.
Yep.
Like typically like around 70 or so. And they're incredibly experienced and incredibly wise, and they just like run a tavern to entertain themselves, basically.
Yeah.
But they are a fount for new players, or a fount of information for players like coming in who have any sorts of questions about like, oh, what's a handy way to deal with this? He'll make himself available to them. And that is, I just thought of it now. That is an example of an elderly player in all of my campaigns. There will always be an elderly NPC in that first inn who is a retired rogue.
Sure.
Yeah, crime lords work really good, both in real life and in fiction, as elderly characters.
True.
Because especially if you have a big crime organization, in the real life mafia, like the top guys are like in their 80s.
Yeah.
And the reason is that like if the entire like crime structure collapses, the guys at the top are expected to take, you know, the prison time for it, because they'll be kept comfortable in prison. You know, they're going to be like on oxygen, and,
Yeah.
needing kidney dialysis, and all the rest of the guys, you know, they get cut loose because they, you know, we were just, you know, the foot soldiers. You know, what are we?
They
You
aren't
know,
the
that sort
problem
of thing.
necessarily.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a good example as well, because I'm thinking immediately, my brain goes to Yakuza, and that literally in the games they basically take the take whoever's on top and put them in jail, because it's just like, well, yeah, they're the ones who's leading everything, even though they know, they can still lead from inside technically, but it's just one of those things for like the public in a way, and it's that little bit of corruption that's still present in the city that they have to deal with or engage with, really. But yeah, elderly characters, huh?
I used the character of Big Boy from Dick Tracy as a template. Old villain character for my first Star Wars game. Guy named Glasspock, and I don't know if Robbie is still in the audience, but he was like Robbie's nemesis.
Okay.
And what's weird is like he was like a distant nemesis. Like he wasn't very powerful anymore, but he would put like a 10 credit bounty on Robbie's character. Not thinking that anybody would actually try to cash in on it, because of course bounty hunting has expenses and stuff, but just because it would be this nuisance in his life. Like he was a real cheapskate, penny pincher, kind of really old guy, and the whole goal was to convince him to come to the planet for like a physical confrontation. And like they get him to go to this one place in Glasspock. He's landed his ship and he's got his 2 guards with him, and he's walking along with his blaster cane. He's like, ugh, why are there so many hills on this planet?
Gotta get a land speeder.
Yeah. No, Glasspock, he walks. He cannot, he's not spending credits on a cab ride.
Right.
Okay.
He's a penny pincher.
Yeah. I get you. Speaking of, actually, Robbie said, why can't they be the badasses that are leading the party through the big dungeon? Like for your elderly characters.
I would say that in that case they fall into the mentor category, where you have like the super powerful mentor is like, here, I'm gonna fucking show you the ropes, and the other I don't know, have any of you played or intend to play Tales of Vesperia or no? Because I've thought of another one that's actually very good. For an older character, but it is a spoiler for a character.
I don't know.
Share it. But can I just do my thing real quick? I will be quick.
Sure. Yeah, sure.
I really like the idea of like you chasing your mentor through the dungeon. And they're like an elderly, like caped character just running through the dungeon at a breakneck speed. And like you're like running into rooms trying to catch them. And you're like running into rooms like fighting the enemies that they aggroed as they're like ducking around the corner, and you're like, wait, don't stop.
Are you gonna learn otherwise?
Yeah, keep up.
Yeah.
So if you guys don't care about the spoiler,
it's
because it's not for the actual story of the game.
Yeah, go for it.
But there's a character in the game called Raven, and he's just one of your party members, and he comes along and does shit with you. And he's not elderly in the game. He's probably up in like upper 40s, but of course he's with like typical JRPG party, so like high teens, maybe low 20s.
So he's the old man. Yeah.
He's the old man. And he is a war hero from the big war that happened before the events of the story.
Cool.
Now, you come to learn that his name's not really Raven. His name is Captain Schwan. And using the main technology of the setting, he died in that war.
Oh.
And they put the technology in the universe or the world is called a Blastia. It's basically just like, think of it kind of like a power cell.
Okay.
And they have a lot of different uses. They can be like they power shields. They can give you like better abilities and stuff like that. So, but he died in that war, and he was forcibly brought back to life by having a Blastia shoved into his chest.
Okay.
So he's already lived a full life,
Mm.
and then he was brought back, and he just kind of is wandering around doing shit now, and he has absolutely no fucking purpose until you meet him, and he regains a purpose in his life through adventuring with you, and you're out there doing good shit because you're JRPG heroes.
Yeah.
And so that's another that can be a very compelling one where it's like you wanted to do, the kind of jaded one where you have to work to get him to get that ally. But I think having the ally, but have him be this like empty shell of a person.
Yeah.
But through your actions, he kind of regains his purpose.
Yeah.
He or she.
Right.
I think that can be very compelling.
Yeah.
Because, he's already helping you, but he's just like, I mean, like I've done this all before.
Right.
I mean,
what
does
it
mean
matter?
anything?
Yeah. Right.
This doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
So he's my favorite character in the game because of that. I think he is definitely the strongest character in that game in terms of like character and motivation and shit.
Sure.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Because he's a corpse.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
He is alive, quote unquote.
Right.
But yeah, he died.
I do like that of changing the perspective because of that experience. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as you were describing that story, it felt very reminiscent to me of Mexnir in your
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
True.
Kinda, sorta, yeah.
Yes.
Dave, did you ever watch Devils and Dice? Can't even finish the sentence.
I think I started it. I'm always looking for things to listen to at work.
Yeah.
I think I might have started it. I remember listening to the character creation episode.
Oh yeah.
That's fair.
Don't think I got too far into it though.
Fair enough.
That's fair. It's okay.
I'm a little more now that we're really late. I'm actually more fascinated by your Delta Green game.
It's so bad
because I remember I was listening to that first episode.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you what Dave does for a living. I'm an intelligence analyst.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
And so like certain words are like the exclamation mark will pop up above my head. And like, wait, this is like you. One of the skills apparently in Delta Green is SIGINT.
Yes, signal
Which
intelligence.
is signals intelligence.
Mhm.
And like I heard someone say that, what is SIGINT? And you're looking at your skills list, and like I'm sitting at my desk at work where I do my job. And the Metal Gear Solid alarm sound goes off. Like, what? Who are you? What have you heard?
Yeah.
What was that noise?
I haven't necessarily incorporated signals intelligence very well yet, because we haven't really done anything that relates to it, unfortunately. But that does exist. Yes, it is very. Yeah, it's a cool skill. I want to try. I got to get better at.
It pops up occasionally in my life because when like a really because NATO has reporting nicknames for like different radars and things like that. So like a really old Russian radar system is called the Spoon Rest.
Oh.
So if you need to report one over the radio, you can report it as the Spoon Rest. That's not classified or anything.
Sure.
That's like ancient knowledge.
Yeah.
But the weird thing is I came back from work one time and my wife had gone like shopping and things like that. And she pointed to the stove and said, "Have you seen the Spoon Rest?" And there's that moment again, like, what? Who are you? What have you heard? What do you know?
What do you know? Yes.
That happens.
No, it's a little ceramic dish that you put next to your stove where you can put a dirty spoon.
Yeah, for sure. I have moments like that when I'm at work and someone will walk by with their phone and they have the same alarm as me. And I'm like, oh. That is the worst fucking
triggers
in the world.
The fighter plate.
Yes.
I love it.
I just want to turn to them and be like, please turn that off right fucking now.
I go out of my way to try to like pick a different alarm from like what anyone else would pick so that never happens.
Yeah.
But like I run into the issue that now that when it does happen, I'm like, oh my god.
It must be mine.
Yeah.
Mine is
I'm silently having a stroke in an aisle trying to figure out like what's wrong with my phone because I'm convinced it was me.
Yeah, I've always had the Tetris theme as my alarm. I've never heard anybody else ever have that around me. it wakes me the fuck up, like, whatever I'm doing. So, and I've always enjoyed it as like a theme, so it's never been something that's been unpleasant. And if that ever happens and somebody is around me and has that, that'd be interesting. I'd probably go up to them and be like, dude, yo, what are you doing?
I also have that
like,
fucking
why did you well, huh?
What have you why?
Who are you?
You weirdo.
Are you me? I don't understand. Yeah, no, exactly. Stuff like that. All right.
But what's sad is, like, I've heard so many good like y'all have recommended Delta Green, and a couple of our game groups I talked to have recommended Delta Green, and they even had the Humble Bundle for Delta Green.
Yeah, they do.
No, I cannot play this. No, no. I will accidentally reveal a security procedure or something. I cannot play this game.
It'd be like
like War Thunder.
I was gonna say the War Thunder thing.
Yeah. There's a name for that. It's called Trollint.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I will be right back.
Okay.
Where you intentionally post false information in the hope of eliciting real information.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
The slang is Trollint. It's not like an official term, but that's kind of like the joke term for it.
Yeah.
I like
that.
That
That just makes me think of the fuck. It's like counterintelligence. It just makes me think of internet historian Hwindu. He will not divide us. That whole saga of
Yes.
Shia LaBeouf putting the flag up and people taking it down.
I remember that. Yeah, them triangulating from the patterns of the planes and shit.
Yeah,
that was crazy.
Absolutely. That is one of the few things I actually will unironically say is pure cinema.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Because it is.
It was very interesting. Let's see. Never become a mentor when you're old. You're guaranteed to die. That is true. Yep. Yep. You also have characters that live a long time because of the type of creature they are, like elves that are old and experienced to the human but are still in their prime. That's also true. That is very true.
Yeah, that is true. The thing I think with the only issue that I see with that is why would the elf help the human party? You know what I mean? And that's specifically if you're doing like the typical haughty, elf type stereotype.
Yeah.
But
if they're not that, then absolutely.
Yeah.
The other thing about old characters is that if y'all saw Tron Legacy with the Flynn character, he comes to realize that choosing to get involved actually makes things worse sometimes.
Yeah.
And that is something that older characters and real life older people also know.
Yeah.
Hey, jumping in and trying to direct things, instead of letting people figure things out for themselves, that's actually not going to help in this situation. I should keep away for a bit.
Yeah. There's definitely that as well. Let's see. I guess I really need to set up the lava scream as my alarm. Hey, there you go. Hell yeah. That is a good one. But yeah. Any other thoughts about elderly characters? Any other?
Yeah, not really.
The old and the young.
The old, the young, old, and also the young old.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, good.
Not from me.
All right. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, Aiden's not back yet, but I guess that's
Boo, Eclectic Goat has set her Discord to invite only. I'll send her a message saying, hey, this friend of mine is looking for some assistance with his Call of Cthulhu modules. So maybe she may, I doubt she'll offer to do so because she actually, in addition to her editing work, she also works like on a farm. So she's pretty busy. But she may know someone who can help you out with that.
Yeah, because it's not even that I want them edited and published now because I'm years out from that. It's more so just kind of questions on how I find people who are trustworthy and how I find editors that are trustworthy and stuff like that.
Yeah, she'll definitely know that.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Comments? Yes, I will get to comments, absolutely. But I would say for all of my lovely people here, except for Aiden, who is not here, so he's not lovely yet. For all of you, if you would like to, I will give you the invitation to step away if you would like to get out of here.
Yeah, unfortunately, I will have to because I just need to use the restroom.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. So, Dave, nice to meet you. Good to talk
You as
to
well.
you.
Yeah.
Sorry about the first time.
And the second time, yeah.
Yeah,
true.
yeah, an hour late. Sorry.
Yeah, that was the third time.
That's
'cause
right,
Because
yeah,
I was
yeah.
on the 200 episode, but
Yeah.
for a little while.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Well, at least third time's the charm. Am I right?
Exactly.
I
Alright.
pop up in part 3 and we all talk about how our brains work.
That's true.
Yes.
That's
It
true.
was wild, man.
Yeah. And then once I get back, I got a fucking hour and a half long Nakey Jakey video to watch. I'm hyped.
Ooh, exciting. There you
It's
go.
all about Counter-Strike.
Ooh, okay. Neat.
Yeah, so that'll be fun. All right. Well, anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and go.
All right.
Nice to meet
Okay.
you. Good talking to you. Blah blah blah. Goodbye.
I must step away as well.
Of
I've got
course.
my own game tomorrow morning.
Yes, that's true.
I'm very committed to keeping my games
Absolutely.
going. So
Absolutely. Well, it was great to have you
Yeah.
on. Really appreciate you coming on. And you're welcome
Absolutely.
anytime, of course.
Oh yeah. If you find yourself short of people, I can't always do like a whole episode like today, but
Yeah,
I
of
can
course.
pop in for like a partial episode or something.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway, thanks for having me on,
Mhm.
and I will listen to this at work because I like to listen to myself to figure out if I'm being annoying. That's the best way to do it.
Nah, you're fine. Don't worry about it.
All right.
Bye-bye.
All right. I will see y'all later then.
Yeah, see ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right. Well, Aiden is away, unfortunately. But I will get to reading the comments right now. And then when Aiden comes back, I will see if he's going to stick around or not. So great to have Dave on. Love that guy. He's cool. All right. We will move to comments. Let me get this up. There we go. All right, everybody. Here we are. So, comments. Starting with days ago on 218, Unit Rico, saying, Ultrasonic, Epistemic, Dissidents is my favorite black metal band. True. Edit. I also love how Garibay says he won't go into why the grown $$ woman left after 2 sessions. Like, yeah, buddy, you don't have to. I think we can make a pretty educated guess. That's right. Garrett Bingo, man. It's a trip. Timothy, on that same episode, says, Hello, bros. Still working on lore. It was great seeing Juice again. It was scary seeing Garibay again. Have a nice day. Thank you. And then, here's your lore. Oh,
I've returned.
welcome back. I've offered the invitation for everybody to leave if you wish to also depart.
Yes, it sounded like you were going through comments as I came back.
Yes.
Well, in that case, I will bid you goodbye, Alejo, and I will bid goodbye to everyone in chat.
All right.
Have a wonderful evening.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah, bye now.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye. I love my friends. Okay. Anyway, Timothy says, Hello, bros. New lore. Title, Into the Swamplands. After putting the coach and horses in a safe place, the party started on foot. Cornell wanted to fly to the swampland, but unfortunately he was not yet big enough to carry a gnoll, a human, an ogre, and 10 knights on his back. Walking for an hour or so, Cornell and Leroy started to feel a strong force pushing into them. They knew this meant they were getting close. Another hour passed. The party needed to cross a large gorge. Cornell uprooted a tall tree so they could pass. They soon reached the edge of the swampland, the overwhelming energy suffocating Cornell and Leroy by this point. The party could barely see past the first trees. Moist fog covered everything. The swamp seemed like a natural wall compared to the humble woods behind them, after what felt like hours looking into the thick green abyss. The party entered. It didn't take long for the swamp to swallow them whole, unable to see where they came from. The magical energy was making Leroy feel lightheaded, making the party stop to rest. Leroy. I've never felt this kind of power before. It's unbearable. The magic user was holding his head. Woodard. You are stronger than the cleric I had with me when I first came here. They couldn't stop vomiting just standing on the edge of this place. Cornell. That cleric must be slacking in their practice. The work one puts into their magic makes one withstand magical torment. I feel like I'm cheating a bit with my natural draconic defenses, but even I feel more sluggish in here. I can't sense where this power is coming from. It's radiating from everywhere. It's almost like the swampland itself is alive, watching us, crushing us. There is a note of fear in the pink dragon's voice. Star Ruby. Are you okay to move forward, boss, or should I carry you? Leroy. Carrying me might be the better idea at the moment. As they were walking, Leroy had a disturbing thought. Leroy. Targasus mentioned knowing a Kuatoa leader from here long ago. I might have a theory for this strange swamp. Cornell. Speak, brother-in-law. Leroy. The Kuatoa have the ability to create deities through intense faith. This whole swamp might have been given life and power of its own by the Kuatoa that live here. Cornell. That might be correct, or at least close. If true, it makes things a lot harder. Woodard. When I was here last, I saw evidence of millions living here, along with sightings of many types of beings. Lots of Kuatoa would make this power even stronger. The party heard a sound from the water they were walking through. Cornell felt something brush against his leg. Cornell. Everyone stop. Be on guard. We need to get to high ground. Standing on drier land, they scanned the water. Woodard. I don't see any attackers, my king. Where are they? Cornell. I don't know, General. The party started to hear low croaking. Woodard. It's the hostile bullywugs I ran into last time. My king, we are being surrounded. The croaking was getting louder. Star Ruby. Can you stand now, boss? I'm gonna need both hands to fight. Leroy. Yes, put me down and ready yourself. A bullywug poked their head out of the water. Woodard. Quit hiding and fight, cowards. The Knoll general picked up a stone and was going to throw it, but Cornell stopped her. Cornell. Calm down, General. We must not be rash. More armed bullywugs came from the trees all around them. The two factions found themselves in a standoff. That's all I got. Have a nice day. Thank you very much. Thank you for the comments. As always, anybody, if you wish to, leave comments and we'll read them at the end of each episode. Sir Ruby and Woodard don't use magic, so the energy didn't affect it the way it does Cornell and Leroy. Yeah, I got that. That makes sense. To me, at least. I wonder how many of those RPG horror stories are written by ChatGPT at this point. Yeah, it's Heretic for a reason. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, those RPG horror stories are something that's just like, we did it once, long ago, right? A Crit Crab video, if you remember. It was long ago, and now we've done another one, and it really cements my standing of just not really going for those. They really, I mean, they can help with discussion, I guess, but I don't find them to be very valuable for it, unfortunately. And that video itself was even less so, because it didn't have, like, any additional commentary from the person, really, until the very end, where it wasn't even that much. And to be fair, I did skip ahead a bit, and so there might have been something. But, I don't know, man. It didn't seem like there was going to be much for it. Anyway. That's it for comments. I'm going to go into the shilling. If you want to listen to me talk about the ways that you can support us, of course, there are the free ways, as everybody knows. Like, subscribe, and comment. Do all of that to the videos. Do whatever you want, really, because I can't tell you what to do. I'm not your dad. Either way, we do have... You know, I never shouted it out, Dave's channel. Dave's channel is As Your GM. Go and follow Dave. My goodness. I'm an asshole for not doing that in the beginning. Go and find Dave. Go watch his little animations and everything, and go and see these campaign format videos. They're interesting. Link in the description, of course. Excuse me. Goodness. Either way, we have a website. It's in the description. And there's a page called Support Us Further. And it's got all the things that I will talk about, and we'll go through them one by one. The first one being the Patreon. Hey ho hey! We have a Patreon. If you wish to join either the Patreon or the Ko-fi, you can become a table flipper through it, or just donate to us through the Ko-fi if you wish. And you can become like one of these lovely people and support us financially. But of course, it is not an obligation. It is just an additional way to support us. So a big thank you. And links in the description, of course, if you wish to go and join these. But big thank you to Draco Kraken, Rick, aka Unirico, and Steely for being in Tier 4 for so long. For 200 episodes at this point, you know? I don't actually know when we put out the Patreon, but you know, all that kind of stuff. But big thank you to you guys for your continued contributions to patronizing us in a good way, as was said in the video today. A thank you goes out to Crimson Rose as well for being in Tier 2, giving us those $5. Appreciate you. Thank you. And a thank you goes out to our Tier 1 contributor. Like I said, if you join either the Ko-fi or the Patreon, which I never actually have the actual Patreon thing on the screen when I'm doing this for some reason. There we go. You can get access to special editing streams, so behind the scenes stuff when I'm editing the Vampire stuff. You can also get access to early releases of Vampire, and you can also get access to when I do have the ability to running games that I run, not running the games. And we'll see about some additional stuff in the sense of some stuff on the Discord. I mean, you do get the role and stuff, you get the chat in the Discord, but there's some other stuff that we might be able to do soon, hopefully. And yeah, that's the whole thing. So Patreon or Ko-fi, they're there if you wish to join. Continuing on, we also have our Fourth Wall shop that now has our dice, the coasters, the mug, and the mouse pad for the Tabletop crew for the podcast, the actual play podcast that's out there that is still part of this channel and everything. It's just got its own like Spotify and Apple Podcasts thing. But yeah, you can go and get stuff through there. All this stuff is under $15 or at $15 for the dice. More stuff to come soon. I still need to do some stuff. Hell, the coming summer collection will be on its way, and I have a few keychains that are coming for samples that I need to order after I get the samples in, so that I can make sure that they're good quality, because I've got one that I think is pretty good, and we're gonna get 2 more. So, and those are gonna be a limited release of like 50 of them. So it's gonna be a whole thing. Stay tuned. But yeah, link in the description for the shop here. You can donate to our PayPal if you wish to. Oh, I didn't actually open Humble Bundle, because that's next. Humble Bundle is also excuse me. Goodness. A site that you can go to using the link in our description to give us a little bit of a like 5% or 4% kickback. And you can go and get a bunch of cool bundles or whatever you want through the shop, or the choice bundle, which I'm actually very excited for the deluxe edition of Thaumaturge. I only have the regular one, and all of these other games that are coming. I actually think I have Evil West, but I do want to get the Bounty Hunter game, Star Wars Bounty Hunter, because that's actually neat. A lot of cool stuff. Help support charity and such. We don't take away from that with the commissions. It's just another thing, another part of it. But I would highly recommend, of course, the Asian Fantasy Bundle that's in the Pathfinder 2nd Edition here. There's also XCOM, which is neat. Looks like a whole bunch of things that are neat. Ooh. Well, I see like Ori in this one. That's neat. Let's see if there's any other book bundles that might be of interest. Essential Star Wars collection. I doubt it, but we'll see. Some comics and such. Warren Ellis, I don't know that name. Vampirella, if you want. Like, there's a bunch of neat stuff. Wheel of Time. There's always some neat stuff in the book stuff. Obviously, the games section has a bunch of game stuff. And, Tycoon Titans. Ooh, I like Tycoons. Espresso Tycoon. Uh-oh. That might be fun. Uh-oh. I shouldn't look at these. I get too many games. Software stuff, map making bundle, here we go. There's something for you. If you want to create maps for your games. Looks like, what's world building asset bundle? Oh, a lot of like stuff for designing games and such, like actual video games and shit. And Unreal and Unity. There you go. A lot of good stuff. Humble Bundle is one of my favorite sites. So use our link in the description if you want to buy anything off it. And then, of course, we are affiliated, not partnered, because we're partnered with Humble Bundle, but affiliated with Drive-Thru RPG Fiction Comics Cards. Each of these has a link in it on the website. I've only included in the description the one for Drive-Thru RPG. But using that, within 15 days, you could, of clicking on or using the link, you can support us with a little bit of a kickback. I think it's also 4 or 5%, and get some custom-made stuff that people put on Drive-Thru RPG. It's a lot of user-created content for a bunch of different kinds of games, as well as some of the official stuff that you can get, obviously. And you can go through to Cards, Comics, Fiction to get the same kind of stuff if you wish. But yeah, use the link, get some stuff. Or don't. It's up to you if you want to spend money or not. That's it for those. I guess, well, one last thing. If you haven't checked out As Your GM or Dave, go to his channel, please. He's a cool guy. He's a cool dude. But yeah, that's it. That's all. I thank you, as I always do, for joining us for another evening of the show. Really appreciate it. We'll be here next week for another one, and who knows what we'll be talking about then. It'll be a good time, though. It's usually a good time. Regardless, I hope you all have a good day, afternoon, evening, and night, depending on when you are watching this. If you're watching this in the future, hello, future you. Hello, future me. Yeah. That'll be it. Thanks again, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye. Goodbye. Get